Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Otts here. It is Saturday morning, and the Raptors lost the Miami Heat in the first game of two to end the season in Miami, Florida. And it wasn't pretty. Uh, some of the problems that happened last night have to do with how long our guys have been together. This is what RJ said after the game that we just need to gel more. And that's true. You know, in some ways, we've been very lucky since all these trades that we've had really good high aptitude players like RJ, IQ, and Kelly come to our team. And it's kind of smoothed over the transition of new players coming to our team. But last night, the disconnect and the time not spent together for very long was very evident on the court. There was a lot of drop passes, there's a lot of turnovers and just not connecting. And then even when we did do some good stuff, there was poor execution to convert the baskets. A lot of very nice setups for people where they just missed. So there's a bunch of reasons why we lost pretty bad last night, and it's annoying. In some ways, our team was a pretty good team last night. And the Miami Heat, well, the Miami Heat are the Miami Heat, and they've been the Miami Heat for a long time. And I'd say one of the biggest things that the Miami Heat has as a calling card under Eric Spoelstra is a very physical defense, if not dirty. And there's a lot of, every like they said on the broadcast last night, every play the Heat are going to foul you. Well, the refs don't call fouls anymore in this league. And in some ways, you've got to be ready to go through that buzz saw of Miami Heat defense to beat them. And if you're not good enough offensively and talent wise to go through that buzz saw and score, maybe only one of your players is good enough, RJ Barrett, you're not going to have enough to beat them. And the refs were pretty bad last night as far as not calling it completely fair. There was a lot of touchy shit and putting people like Jimmy Butler on the line and then nothing on the other end. The Raptors were really getting the raw end of the deal as far as contact and fouls being called. It's really messed up. It is what it is. In some ways, us losing to the Miami Heat helps them and it hurts the Sixers. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It is going to be what it was. Now, can we win the last game tomorrow? Are we going to have our end of the bench play and nobody's going to play? Like, I don't want to do that. You can bring the best guys like you did last night and let's give it another shot. And maybe, the way things fall out, I mean, they're going to be playing for something either way. It's just too jammed up. It's too jammed up in the Eastern Conference standings, and nothing's been settled. And it's going to be the last day of the season. And all over the league tomorrow, when all the teams play, there's going to be all kinds of settling down and figuring out who's going to be where and what. From the very top of the Western Conference all the way through the middle of the meat of the Eastern Conference also. It's just unsettled. And that means high competition in games in historically would not be. They would be like these are games that don't matter really in some ways because everything's set up. Well, no, not at this point. The play-in tournament has made everything right to the last second matters. All these games matter apparently tomorrow. It's just a fantastic development. And in some ways, if you're in the middle of the playoff race or the play-ins, that's fun. But in some ways, with our position, we're just playing out, and it is what it is. I would love for them to end the season on a good note. The 905 won their last two games against Motor City Cruise, and it felt good. It was nice, even though the season was disappointing, really the losing season, to get the last two wins felt good to close out the season. So in some ways, let's close out this season with a win tomorrow, Raptors. It'll make us feel better just a little bit. If tomorrow is our championship, treat it like that. Treat it like that. Now, I don't know if these guys are going to party or do whatever the fuck they're going to do down there. There's a really shitty content creator in Saskatchewan called 306 Raps putting out a bullshit post yesterday that his idea of a parody or a joke. But you know what, man? The way you wrote it, it will fool people and they'll think that it's true. This is the problem with today's society is there's a lot of people think that they're funny and they're putting out like fake graphics that are like Barstool Sports or whatever, like bullshit butt crack sports. There's a whole bunch of parody accounts on Twitter and on Instagram and other places. And this guy wrote update, news, breaking news, and wrote a whole copy like it was a true story. And then at the end of it, he says, source, me. I just wrote this up. And it was basically talking about how the Raptors are just partying this whole weekend and they're ignoring Darko Rajakovic. And it's just a bullshit story. It's absolutely not true. It's just this guy wrote it and posted it, and Trevor put it in our chat, and I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. This is a comedy writer. This is a guy trying to be funny. Some idiot out in Saskatchewan who thinks he's funny, and he thinks it's not helpful to the team. That perception is not good. 306 Raps, you dumbass. We already have a perception problem with Jonte right now. Do we need to really put the perception out there that our guys aren't professional and that they're just party maniacs? No. So fuck you, 306 Raps. Here's my 2-finger salute for you, you dumbass. If you're a Raptors fan, well, you're not helping things. If you are honestly a troll or somebody else that's not really a Raptors fan and you're just doing this to cause trouble, well, that's what it is. That's what it is right there. So, yeah, it's just bullshit, man. I want to get this season over and done with. I got other things to do in my life. And, yeah, it is what it is. We lost last night. Let's get into the comments. All right, let's see. Monique is first here today. Superfan Monique Lawrence. As I said yesterday, we're organizing another Raptor Freak hangout. It's Monique's birthday. It's going to be in June the 8th, a Saturday. We'll be meeting at the NBA restaurant on Queens Quay, the first ever NBA themed restaurant, just like a Hard Rock Cafe in Toronto. They put it here in Toronto, down on the lake, and we'll be going down there on June the 8th. It's a Saturday to celebrate the superfan Monique Lawrence's birthday. And I would like to invite anybody who watches this channel that is able to get to that location on that day to just come down. Don't worry about it. Now, of course, the food, you have to buy it. And, of course, it's her birthday. So it's like a birthday party. You're supposed to bring birthday gifts. So June the 8th, Raptor Freak Hangout with Monique on her birthday. So get down there if you can make it, and you'll hang out with us, and we'll have some good food. We'll check out the NBA restaurant, and we'll celebrate Monique's birthday. It'll be so fun. This is what she's saying this morning. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. What a great game for RJ. Yeah, RJ was awesome. RJ makes you proud. JFL pissed me off last night. At least we got over 100 points. Yeah, I mean, the problem here is that we've got a lot of like guys that just shouldn't be in the NBA on our team right now. I mean, it was sad. In some ways, look, we had one guy who was amazing. RJ, 35 points, my number one star of the game, 13 of 18 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, only 3 turnovers, a -9 in 33 minutes with 35 points. He outscored his number of minutes that he played. 35 points in 33 minutes. RJ, you are a badass. You're the only person that I have a lot of respect for from last night. Because honestly, you're the guy who did it all. And I can't get mad at you at all. You were in there fighting. You understood that they were dirty and you're going to have contact and you got to play through it. They're going to be swiping at you. They're going to be fouling y'all, but you don't care. You got to go score no matter what. That's the thing. In the NBA today, if they're going to swallow the whistle, they're going to allow physicality. You have to learn how to convert through contact. And it can be very, very hard, unfair contact. And you can't get all whiny and, wow, where's the foul? No, you need to be like RJ. And you need to bounce those motherfuckers off you and make the baskets. That's what I'm saying right there. My second star of the game was Bruce Brown. He was the only other guy that could make shots on the team last night. He was 5 of 6, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 14 points, but still a -22 overall in the game in 22 minutes. Bruce was locked in, and he was kind of making me like want to keep him on our team from some of the stuff he was doing last night. He showed a veteran know-how. He showed a way that he could score with a team that's like the Miami Heat that are very, very tough to kind of score on. In some ways, that was very welcome. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, at 22 million, I don't know. The third star was hard for me to pick because there really wasn't anybody else I wanted to pick, honestly. I didn't even really want to pick Bruce Brown, but I had to because he did have a good game. I picked Garrett Temple in the end. Honestly, this guy's been a vet all season. He's been breaking in case of emergency. And once again, he wasn't supposed to play last night, but the unprofessional, horrible play of the guys that did get to play meant that Garrett Temple got added in the second half to play after all. And he wasn't totally ready because he probably told him, you're not in the rotation today. But these guys play like jackasses. Well, Garrett Temple's professional steadiness is necessary for late in the game, especially if we're going to try and make a run near the end of the third. We had it down to like 10 or 12. And if we had done things more correctly, I mean, honestly, there was a rotation out there in the fourth quarter that absolutely lost us the game. And it was really when we didn't have either IQ or RJ out there, like I said. And there was some sort of weird ass team that was centered around Gary that was out there that was absolute shit, that didn't score anything and let them score like crazy. And then all of a sudden, Miami's got a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. We had our chances between the third and the fourth quarter, but there was bench time in there where they separated from us once again. And it's just that these guys are turkeys. These guys just can't play at NBA compete level. I'm sorry. They just can't. So, Garrett, you're getting my third star. Only 8 minutes out there, but he was 2 of 3. He made 2 out of 3 shots. That's awesome. 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 8 points. And that's a stat line I'm giving something to, because honestly, Emmanuel got 15 points, but he had a bad game. Gary Trent Jr., absolute dog shit last night. 1 of 3 of 13. It's crazy. It is crazy. Even RJ called out Gary after the game. He said, well, Gary didn't get any threes, and that hurt us. I mean, I know he shouldn't do that, but he did name a teammate for not doing something last night, and that's crazy. In some ways, I don't like that, RJ, but in some ways, I get it. You're just being honest. You're just looking at this thing like Gary didn't hit any threes for us, hardly at all. And that's right. He only hit 1 3. That's it. That is it. It's so disappointing. What the fuck is wrong with you, Gary Trent Jr.? Seriously, I've been talking about you run around cones in the sand at 6 a.m. You're not running around bars at 6 a.m. So come on, man. Come on, show it up like that. Because if you don't play well, now some of you are going to be thinking you're doing South Beach life. Seriously, you don't want that air of suspicion on this kind of shit. So y'all need to show up correct tomorrow. Seriously. I mean, golly. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Those are my 3 stars: RJ Barrett, Bruce Brown, and Garrett Temple. And yeah, we'll go over the other guys more and more depth in a little bit. Let's just see what else Monique is saying. Yeah, JFL pissed me off. He's been pissing me off all season, just like how he pissed you off last night. Yeah, he's been pissing me off in 905 in those ways too. He's been pissing me off while he's been on the Raptors like this. And it's exactly what I told y'all. It's like, look, we got different tiers of inconsistent ballers. Well, Gary Trent's at the top tier and JFL's in the next tier. Why do we want to have a succession of inconsistent ballers? Seriously, we already got one with Gary. Why do we want to develop JFL? Like the same thing. It's the same role. It's the same shit. It's the same stupid shit that they don't show up on a consistent basis. So why the fuck would we want JFL next year, y'all? We got Gary. We see what Gary's been like. Well, you want more of that? JFL will be the same guy. Just inconsistent. You can't count on him night out and night in, night out. He's just not going to show up the same way every night. Yeah, I think it's good that we scored 100 points. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we only had 3 guys in double digits. It's like RJ and IQ got 50 of those points of the 103. So it's like RJ got a huge share of them, and then Emmanuel got like 14, and I don't even know how we got the rest of the 50. Seriously, these guys were so shit. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. RJ put on that show last night, said in his interview he wants to be here. Yeah, that was something. This is something that's important. We've got guys in our core that want to be in Toronto, that really do. RJ said he's been having fun since he's been on the Raptors. Even if they've been losing and stuff like that, he's enjoyed it. He loves it. In some ways, he's got to pinch himself because it's a childhood dream, and he's living it now. There's been all kinds of nightmare kind of things that happened this year, like his brother dying. But through it all, in some ways, it's like, holy crap, I have to feel very grateful that I've gotten to this point in my professional career where I'm playing for the team that I rooted for when I was a child. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. I cannot understate this, that matters, that our franchise has matured to the point where we can have people that grew up watching our team playing for our team, and they're legitimate. Kem Birch was one of the first ones. Kem Birch was a Raptors fan when he was a kid living in Montreal. And he got to realize a dream when he played for the Raptors. That was one of the things that I wish people respected about Kem Birch when he was on our team more, that this is a guy who was a kid who was a Raptors fan that grew up and played for the Raptors, and it mattered to him. Well, now we've got bigger level guys in the league like RJ that this phenomenon is happening. It's only one thing with a backup center like Kem Birch, but when you have a superstar, a top lottery pick like RJ Barrett that has this kind of allegiance, it's awesome. Kelly, the same thing. Kelly, exactly the same thing. And in some ways, there's a peace of mind. And honestly, In some ways, there's a kind of like feeling of like, you know what, these guys won't screw us over because if they screw us over, they're screwing over their home. And that's messed up that we, they if they did that. So I'm just saying, I love that interview. RJ basically saying, yeah, he's very excited about being a Raptor and what the future holds, and that he's ready to get to work, and that he wants more gelling, and we will get better. Yeah, very, very, very cool stuff. Trevor's here, so we're going to do the classic card of the day, classic cosmic card of the day. Oh, and I will give 100 points to a Raptor Freak trivia score of the person who gets this card identified with the full name. Don't half-ass me. You know the rules. All right, I'm going to pull all the way from this side, and let's see who we get today. Oh, this is fun. It might be a little tough to figure out who this card is because there's two people on it, and it doesn't look totally like the person whose the card it is. So I'm going to make this ambiguous. You guys got to try and figure out which one of the two people on this card is the card by naming them. And, if you get the right one, I'll say, yeah, you got the card. So, yeah. All right. It's coming out from the bottom. Now we're here. All right. Here we go. Maybe I'll bring it up a little closer. Let's turn it so it's facing the camera. All right. Let's see who can do this. Oh, I should put it at the bottom of the comments just so I can see what you guys are saying. All right. There's two players there. Whose card is that, though? Whose card is that? Whose card do you think that is between those two players? Let me see if you guys know who either one of those two players are. Get that up close. See if you guys can see it pretty good. No guesses. All right, Kareem got it right away. It's Vladdy Divac. That's right. This is a Vladdy Divac card. I was going to try and be fool y'all because he's kind of to the side. And that Cleveland Cavalier kind of looks like it's his card. But yeah, that's Vladdy Divac. Kareem getting the card today. Kareem Thomas. I don't think you've gotten many classic cards of the day. Yeah, that's Vladdy, guys. That's Vladdy, the famous Vladdy, drafted by Charlotte Hornets and traded not drafted by the Hornets. He was drafted and then he was traded to the Hornets for Kobe Bryant, I believe. That's the draft. That's the trade that happened. The Divac. Yeah, Vladdy. He's still involved with the Kings. I believe he's in the front office somewhere. Yeah, Vladdy Divac. Good job, Kareem Thomas. There you go. Who is the other guy in the card? I'm trying to think. Let's look at it closer. Number 8. Oh, man, is that Garrett Temple? It's like Garrett Temple's beginning of his career or something. No, it's not Garrett Temple. I don't know who that is. You guys are going to have to look up Cleveland 8s. And then maybe we can figure it out. Look on the back. Vladdy had been playing for a while already. Look at that. Look at all those Lakers games and Kings and Hornets and Kings. That's right. Yeah, it does kind of look like Temple, Tom, but it's not. It's not Temple. I forget who that is. I should know. See, I'm not very good at the classic card myself. Just like identifying cold. All right, so Kareem Thomas, the dunk champion, going into the classic card and getting 100 points today. Cool stuff, Kareem. I like seeing different people get it. And Vladdy is a pretty well-known player. Seems like we're getting a lot of centers, doesn't it? We get a lot of centers on the classic Cosmic card. It's weird. All right, let's see. Monique's also saying he's been great for our franchise. He's been great for our other teammates. That's always good for chemistry of the team. Toronto Raptors GM Bobby Webster with high praise for 23-year-old RJ Barrett. Yeah, they've been showing these little clips during the Raptors games in the last week of like little interviews with like Darko and Bobby talking about how they see how things are going on the way out. And honestly, that Bobby clip last night about RJ blew my mind. It actually opened my eyes up to something that I've been overlooking. And I've been saying recently on this chat that I feel like IQ has way more room to grow into a higher ceiling because it just seems like he could like really do some more stuff on another level. And I was like, well, RJ's more complete. In some ways, he's kind of hitting his ceiling already. And I was like, wait, though, but he's 23. And then they were talking about it. And when Bobby Webster illustrated what he sees as far as RJ Barrett developing in the future, I was like, okay, I have a blind spot. I didn't see this. And he is very much opened my mind to how RJ has an even higher ceiling than what he's playing right now. And it's basically the defensive end. That Bobby Webster said last night during the broadcast, they want to develop RJ to be a known two-way player, that he can get smarter on defense and excel on the defensive end even more maybe get more well known as a stopper or somebody who's just smarter and savvier as far as how he guards people. So Bobby Webster sees a potential in him to become a known two-way player. In some ways, that's not what he was known for in New York. That was a knock that he can be a defensive liability in some ways. Of course, he's a very gifted scorer and he can get the basket. But honestly, this is true. If RJ Barrett becomes any kind of known defensive player and he becomes more known as a two-way, that could really increase his ceiling and make some new wrinkles to his game that are absolutely amazing. So I didn't even think about that potential. In some ways, I was like, well, RJ's trying his ass off. Like, what can he do more on defense to get better? Well, there are things he can do better on defense to get better. So I'm gonna be curious to see that side of the ball for RJ in the next couple of years and how maybe possibly Darko and the coaches develop him on the defensive end because that was open to my eyes. I was like, you know what? Bobby's right. Maybe there is a potential on the defensive side of the ball for RJ that I just didn't think about. I like this. I like this. Good job, Bobby Webster. Good job. Chris is here. Good to see MSJ. Our guards were eaten alive, and Malik Williams is blank. Fill in the blank. Let's play some ad libs. What would you put in that blank? Dog shit, crap, doo doo. I mean, most of it has to do with excrement. Yeah. But RJ is a player. I hope they enjoy South Beach and have a better game Sunday. The Heat are in playoff mode. So good. Yeah, they're not that good, though. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Yeah, I would not pick the guys that they have in there replaced for guys like Kyle Lowry and Max Strus. They're going to really miss Strus. That's one of the people they're really going to miss. Maybe Gabe Vincent. They're going to miss him some too. Jack was right. They've switched some of the cast of characters. And this mix, this recipe this year for the Heat, it doesn't have the same kind of swagger or feel that last year's did that did so much damage in the playoffs. I really think that the Miami Heat may not even get through the play-in. If not, they're going to be out in the first round. I don't have any confidence in them at all. It'd be funny if this happened. If somehow, some way through the play-in games, Philadelphia plays Boston in the first round because they end up losing the first game of the play-in to Miami, and then they win against the winner of Chicago and Atlanta. So they played the Boston Celtics in the first round. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat play the Milwaukee Bucks, and they put them out in the first round again. And then in the other series, either the Sixers or Celtics are going out in the first round. That's a dumpster fires waiting to happen in this playoff. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, man. Chris, you can't be more right about some of this. It's sad. It's sad how this all went down. They didn't even have Scary Terry. In some ways, they didn't even have Scary Terry Rozier. Yeah, it's too bad. It is what it is. The Coach Spo is really good coach. And even though that Miami team's not as good as last year, they're still very dangerous with guys like Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Yeah. It is what it is. We're just going to finish the season. Tomorrow's the last game. Let's see. Monique saying Grady went from he doesn't belong in the NBA to he will play an important role for the Toronto Raptors midway through the rookie season. You love to see the quick turnaround. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that quick, though. I mean, it is in the whole idea of like the NBA and how guys can develop. It was a very quick turnaround in that way, but it was very hard work, and it was months. It wasn't like all day, all of a sudden Grady just turned it on or something. No, there was a whole trial and tribulation, pretty much from November until January. That was just man tough. In some ways, we were really worried. Like they did a really good job illustrating the journey of Grady's year in that piece that Michael Grange wrote about Grady Dick, about how he really hit a low. And we were, like I said, we were talking about on this channel, is Grady going to be a bust? And I was saying at the time, around November, December, it's like, we can't say this so soon, guys. This is premature. This is way too soon to just declare a guy's a bust 3 months into his pro career in December. Yeah, I wasn't ready to concede that. And, Grange even talks about in his article that a lot of fans had already given up on Grady in December. But, it's not smart to do that. That's way too soon. It's like people make snap judgments so quickly, and they don't understand how things can develop. Like in some ways, Grady's special. If he was a normal player, he might have gotten in his head and never got to the good stuff this year. Seriously, that's what could have happened, Mo. Think about it. He hears all the noise, and he's like, "Oh man, he's a bust." Then he spirals out of control in his own mind mentally. That maybe they're right. Maybe I am a bust, and that's not helpful. That's not helpful in any kind of way. So that's why that noise is not necessary or helpful to him to hear the negativity like that. In some ways, the good stuff it doesn't help either because it may make your head big and kind of like make you unrealistic about who you are. There's a lot of players like this that have an unrealistic idea who they are because their head's real big. But it's also the other way. When people start saying, "Oh, he's a bust," he's a bust. If he had listened to all that shit, he could have gotten his own head for the second half of the season and never got any of the good stuff that happened because of the way he is. He did get through that quicker and that had it happen. I like how Grange in that piece illustrates that this is like at other stages in his career, in other levels. He'd hit a roadblock and it'd be like, and kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? And then he could work even harder. He'd work even harder. He'd put in the time and he'd get through it and he'd bust through and he'd have a breakthrough on the other side and be a badass on the other side of it. So he has a pattern of this kind of growth and this kind of thing happening from his different levels. I think in high school, this kind of thing happened to him and in college. So Grady is just going to put his head down and put the work in and go through the fire, and the fire won't burn him with doubt. And that's a very, very powerful thing for a sure shot shooter on your team is that, you know, the doubt isn't there because it just doesn't exist in his world. He's done the work. He understands his shot and his game and who he is. And he just needs to apply himself and he'll get the good results over time. It's just like I was saying the other day in the article, they talk about how he couldn't beat his older brothers and sisters when he was playing in the driveway in Kansas. For the longest time, they never let him beat him, and that pissed him off. He was a little kid that could never win. And in some ways, that's the same kid that Grady is right now. Because he couldn't win for so long, when he finally did beat them, he broke through. And that's what I'm talking about. It's about breaking through for Grady. Adversity hits Grady, he goes right through it, and he's better for it on the other side. In some ways, the conditioning of losing to your older brothers and your sister on the court all the time really makes you have a desire to compete and beat somebody. And that is the DNA of Grady in the past of him and where he comes from, is that he was losing for a long time because his brothers, Brody and them, they would not let him win. And then he got bigger and stronger and he started beating them. And in some ways, the brothers doing that to him when he's younger is the same thing as what happened to him this season with the G League and the failure halfway through the season. Well, he did exactly what he did against his siblings. He went through it, and in the end, he overcame it, and he was stronger for it. You know, in some ways, we could look at it as like Grady's undersized, he's inexperienced, and new to the NBA right now. So he might as well be that little kid that was younger than his brothers and his sister that was getting beat by them. But at some point, he became more knowledgeable, bigger, and stronger, and he could start beating his brothers. Well, it's going to be the same thing in the NBA. He's going to be bigger and stronger and not more knowledgeable. He's going to start beating NBA players much more than he's already doing. And I'm excited about it. There was a point in the game last night where Grady almost got a steal. He had really good instincts. He tapped the ball, but wasn't able to corral it, and he didn't get the full possession. I'm telling you, those kind of things will get tidied up, and that will be a straight up steal and possession for the Raptors in the future. That move is good. It's just that he's still inexperienced. He's got to learn the game, and he gets more savvier. He gets more smarter. That little deflection turns into a full on steal and a possession take turnover for the other team and a possession for us. But not last night. He tapped the ball, and the Miami Heat recover the ball still. But that's going to be a straight-up steal soon. Watch. That's going to be a straight-up steal. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I like talking about Grady, his journey, and where he got to at this point in the season. It's a journey he's done many times on different levels, so it's not new to him in a weird way. Chris is saying, if JFL was looking totally shook by Martin, Butler, and Jovic, at least Dick did something versus Hero. But outside RJ, our team was bad. Gary Trent Jr., Jesus. Heat broadcast said he was bricking everything. Laugh out loud. Yeah. I mean, this is weird. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, our team has really looked gelled and really had good passing. A lot of it's Kelly and our IQ, and they really have done a good job of not having such bad like passing turnovers like they did last night. They were off finally. They finally looked like a team that just got thrown together at the trade deadline last night. They honestly, there should have been way more games like last night in the last 20 games of the season than just last night. Seriously, that is just how bad they could have been on most nights. Just think about this. There's levels to this. They weren't tuned in. They weren't checking with each other and they were missing each other's passes. You know, in some ways, I'm really mad at Malik Williams because he's a lazy player. In some ways, if RJ's going to throw you a lob to you in the post, you better fucking catch it and try and put that in the basket. People are going to try and pass it to you. You need to come to the ball and grab it. In some ways, you're waiting for the ball to come. Well, Miami is a deflecting kind of shit disturber, kind of aggressive team. They're going to jump in and steal the ball. This is the NBA Malik Williams. The players are stronger, faster, smarter, more athletic, and talented. You can't wait for the ball to come to you if they're going to pass it to you. They're going to steal it. So you need to be aggressive and come to the ball. You need to have better awareness in some ways. It's like RJ's throwing you a quick pass. You need to catch it. No, this guy's is a waste. Malik Williams has been a waste, and it's sad. It is what it is. Maybe it's calculated. Maybe this guy's not going to help us win. That's good. That's what we want. I mean, that's how I feel about this. It's crazy, man. Bricking everything. Yeah, Gary really disappointed me. Not just because he's on my fantasy team, but just because, like, look, you've made this argument about him being consistent. Some people in this chat, I'm like, he's consistent, but he isn't consistent. Well, he wasn't consistent last night. And honestly, it was kind of insulting when he finally hit a three late in the game after the game was already decided. It's like, oh, you can hit a three now, Gary. You know, you had that moment too when you saw that when Gary finally hit a three in the fourth quarter after the game was already decided. We're not going to win. Oh, Gary's hitting a three now. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Monique saying doing it for Nate, RJ's mom and dad in the crowd last night. Yeah, we saw the parents of RJ Barrett in the crowd last night. Rowan Barrett Sr. always looks so pissed off when they show him in the crowd at Raptors games. I feel bad for him. I mean, I have no idea. I've never became a father myself, but to lose a child, man, I don't know how that would feel. And I wouldn't want to go through it. And man, in some ways, I'm glad to see the Barretts on the road with RJ down in Miami going to the games because, man, life goes on. And in some ways, the joy of having your son in the NBA can help kind of with grief with the passing of your other son. And seeing them there and cheering and just like kind of being invested. I mean, in some ways, Rowan is so pissed, man. He just looks so angry whenever they show him on TV. I don't want to think that it's anything that has to do with Team Canada. If he's angry about Team Canada stuff, or it's obviously he's sad and upset about his son's passing. But man, it's nice to see them there. And his mom really cheers good for him. His dad's just kind of watching. Yeah, and he seems kind of angry, very, very angry. I want Rowan Barrett Sr. to be smiling by the end of the summer because we got a medal at Paris. Yeah, that'll make this year a lot better for him. Seriously, if we can do that, man. Yeah, it is nice to see them there. I'm sure a lot of the parents for different players are down there for this weekend too. You know, I'll bet you there's Grady's parents are probably down there, and you know, maybe IQ's, but you know, we'll have to, it is what it is. It's the last weekend of the NBA season for the Raptors. Let's see. Chris is saying the Heat broadcast was funny. When there was the challenge on the call versus Hero and Dick, they said Raps down by 30 and Key coaches challenge. The suspense. Such an important moment. Yeah, they're being snarky little shits. Yeah. I mean, their broadcast is interesting. Who is it? Eric Reed and John Crotty or something? And Audibert there now, too. Amy Audibert. Yeah, Amy's Angle. Amy's Angle. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you know, the Heat broadcasters could be worse. They could be worse. Eric Reed is somebody I'm familiar with because I remember listening to him when I was in Florida. I swear he might have even gone to school with me. Like he might have been in the sports department with me at Florida State when we were doing radio and sports radio and stuff. Because he's really familiar to me, Eric Reed. Yeah, and John Crotty, of course, former player. He was one of the Cosmic Cards of the day, wasn't he? I think he was. Mo saying Gary absolutely trashed last night too. Yeah, let's. All right, we'll break down some of the trash last night. We'll start with we'll start at the top, and I'm not saying Kelly was trash, but Kelly did have problems last night. I wanted to pick Kelly as one of the stars of the game, but I just couldn't in good conscience. He led the team in turnovers, and I know some of it was just misconnection, and he's the hub. So if he's trying to pass it around and guys just aren't catching it, it's just really bad passing last night. And in some ways, Darko was mad about this after the game. He said that the team can't have only 23 assists with 17 turnovers. That assist to turnover ratio is just unacceptable for Coach Rajakovic and his team. He said some other stuff that was very interesting in the press conference, saying that the season's not over. We're professionals, and we're going to close the season out and play as professional as possible. That things matter to him, and he was pissed. He was pissed about a couple of things that happened in the game last night. That the Raptors did not do things to his standard. And this is something that's important that everybody needs to hear and understand about Darko is that he does have a standard and he is giving these guys crap for not doing things correctly. In fact, he pointed out the Brooklyn game before this game that it was a close game and that we played right. And even though we lost, he was happy with that game because we competed right up until the end. And it was a close game right at the end. And just Dennis took over and won it right at the end. He doesn't like this kind of game where we don't compete correctly and it's just kind of like a blowout. And the game's decided way early and these guys aren't trying. And they're not trying to come back up and take it. Yeah, it's annoying. It's very, very much annoying. Darko had a couple. What did he say? I feel like I need to play it his post game interview because he had a certain statement that he said, and I can't remember it right now. I'm blanking, but he said something that was very like basically kind of like we want professionals on this team, and if you're not going to be professional, you will not be on this team. Is basically what he said after the game. It's not exactly how he said it. But he did say that, and that's kind of what I've been saying this week. It's like, if you guys ain't professionals, we don't want you on the team. And, well, that's what he was saying. He kind of gave a warning to these guys from the game last night saying, look, I saw what y'all did out there, and y'all were garbage, and you know what? You ain't going to be around because you're playing garbage like that. So Kelly got 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers, 8 points, 3 of 7 shooting. He made both his free throws. You know, Kelly was Kelly. In some ways, some days his passes aren't going to be so good. Some days he's not going to get the favor with the refs. You saw how much he talks with the refs. You see how much he's politicking out there and going back and forth with them. So he's a good advocate in that way. I can't get mad at Kelly. In some ways, he's my honorable mention after the 3 stars because I like the 11 rebounds. And, man, if he just had less turnovers, I would be happy with him. Gary was really bad. 3 for 13, 1 of 7 from 3, only 1 rebound and 1 assist and 1 turnover, 7 points in 29 minutes. Okay, Gary, you want to do cardio? Why don't you just go run on the beach? You want to do cardio? You go ahead and just go fucking run on South Beach for a little while. If you don't need to be in an NBA game to do what you did last night, you can just go do cardio wherever the fuck you want, man. Go get your steps. Go get your run in. Whatever. You want to run up and down the NBA court and not do jack shit? Go ahead. You might as well just be running on the beach. That's right. Manuel had an off night, and I'm going to give him a pass because Manuel's been very, very good for a long time recently. And, he got 15 points, 4 of 11 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, a minus 15 in 30 minutes. Yeah, Manuel's just a little off. In some ways, he could get honorable mention, but I have a certain standard that I expect from him. And he did not fulfill that standard last night. And really, it's just like missing too many shots. He filled in good stuff with 4 rebounds, 5 assists, but still just missing too many shots. And some of the shots that he would normally make, he didn't make last night, which was different. Grady was okay. He wasn't absolutely horrible. 3 of 7, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 rebound, 8 points. Now, the difference between Grady and Gary is very evident after a game last night. Gary, I don't trust him to get out of a shooting slump like within shots. But Grady, if Grady's going to get, he took 5 threes last night. If Grady misses the first 2 or 3 threes, I think the next one's going in. He's not like a bad streak shooter where he's going to get he's just off for the whole night. No, his mechanics and the way he shoots is just such a sure shot that eventually those are just going to go in. And percentages will say that. So you could probably count on Grady to make a 3 or 2 every single game he plays. because even if he misses a couple, it doesn't shake him, and he's going to continue to do his fundamentals and shoot it the way he's going to shoot it. They're going to go in at some point. And in some ways, that's the difference between Grady and Gary. Gary can be very much a temperature shooter, a streak shooter. If he's hot, he's hot. If he's very cold, he's very, very cold. Now, Grady, he could be cold at first, but he can get hot really quickly because the fundamentals are what he relies on. And that's the difference right there. And there was a point where Grady finally hit a three last night, and that's what I thought. I was like, well, Grady does this a certain way. He's going to make them at some point. He's just going to make them at some point. There's no guarantee with Gary if he's going to make one at some point. But with Grady, yeah, you give him the shot opportunities at three, he's going to make some of those. He's not going to do it 1 for 7 like Gary did last night, especially with wide open threes. No, he's not. No. In some ways, it's like we could say if Grady had gotten 7 3 attempts last night, he probably would have gotten 3 of them, at least 3 of them. Like he got 2 out of 5, 3 out of 7. That's probably very good expectation instead of 1 out of 7 like Gary Trent Jr. It's annoying. Grady is a sure shot. If you give him those shots, he's going to make it at some point. He won't go cold the whole game. Wara only came in for 4 minutes. He wasn't really a part of the rotation. In some ways, him and McDaniels were punished last night. McDaniels was definitely punished last night for how bad he played in the game before. He didn't even get in at garbage time. Darko's like, yeah, you're not coming in on this game because the last game you looked like a really, really bad player. And Wara, in the same case, like he wasn't in the rotation last night either. And he only came in the garbage minutes right at the end. He picked up a rebound and a turnover. Malik Williams, absolute disgrace. 0 for 2. He only took 2 shots. He missed both of them. He's a 0 for 19 minutes. He's out there for 19 minutes. He can't score a single damn basket or point or nothing. It's crazy. He got 4 rebounds. You're out there for that long, and you still are like only 4 rebounds, my guy? How did RJ and Kelly get 11 rebounds each, and you only get 4? What is that, bro? And I don't think you don't get blocks at all. What is this? Like, what are you? What is your position? Because I don't know. I don't know in any kind of way. Malik Williams, man, is your 10-day up today? Because we may not even need you for tomorrow. It got so bad with Malik Williams last night that Darko took him out and put undersized Garrett Temple in to play center instead of him. That was a better option. That's messed up. That is messed up, bro. That you did so bad that they let that 37-year-old journeyman who's been in this league for so long and hadn't played no center since elementary school until recently. He's a better option than you at the end of the game at center because you're that bad. Oh my gosh. You got to come to the pass. If somebody's passing it to you, you don't let that pass come to you. You need to meet it and come to it with your hands ready to catch it. And man, this guy's been, I don't even want to talk about him anymore. Abaji came off the bench last night, and I think that was a mistake. I do. I mean, we didn't know Gary Trent was going to be cold. But in some ways, Abaji could have set that defensive tone in the starting lineup right away because we didn't have that. That one of the key components of some of the really good starts we've had recently has been Abaji. So having Abaji not in the starting lineup last night in some ways was a mistake by Darko. I'm going to say that right now. It may be because of matchups. It may be because he looked at the guys who were available and he's like, I want to get this lineup out there and try it. Well, in some ways you screwed up. You should have started Abaji because he sets a defensive tone right at the beginning of the game and also an energy tone. And in some ways, we didn't have that tone right at the beginning of the game. In fact, they jumped out on us and they led from wire to wire for the whole entire game. And in some ways, I disagreed with not starting Abaji. In some ways, he's an important part of getting our defense right from the very beginning. He was 25 minutes, 3 for 5 off the bench, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, minus 28, the worst on the team, and 7 points. The Abaji 3 was so picturesque from the corner. It was just like very nice. And that really bodes well for things. Just like what Darko's saying, he's not worried about Ochai Abaji's 3-point shot. It looks real good in practice. He's doing everything. It looks really good behind closed doors. It's just in the game, we're going to have to get it to everybody see it out there. And he'll get more opportunities. And in the future, that guy's going to make these threes. Trust me. Like he did last night, that one he shot from the corner that looked so picturesque is what I call it. Javon Freeman, Liberty, 15 minutes, 1 of 5 from the field, 0 for 3, 2 of 2, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, -6, 4 points in 15 minutes. He was shooting air balls. He had a corner three and he overshot it. Like, I don't understand this, JFL. What are you doing with your life, bro? Get serious. You want to make the NBA or not? You did all this work. You've been on Windy City Bulls. You've been on 9 to 5. What are you doing? What are you working towards, bro? Get serious with your life and get your shit right so you can get what you want. But you ain't going to do it if you're going to do it like last night. And an air ball over the rim, overshooting air ball. Come on, man. What is that, bro? What is that, man? That's really bad. An overshooting air ball. That is crazy. I can't believe that did you see what I was talking about, right? He shot the ball over the rim on the other side from the other side. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Talent difference between the Heat and the Raptors and just embarrassing. It's kind of cool to see the rookies battle. Vasquez against Dick. That was kind of cool. That guy's really good, that Jaime guy. He has similarities to Grady. Both of them attack the rim in a similar kind of way, some ways. But yeah, he did really good scoring on us. He was annoying on the other side. It was a different people. They have different pieces that do different things. Like Jovic, very underrated, 22 points, 4 of 10 from 3. The big man, he's very useful. There was that one point where he stole the ball from RJ, sneaking up behind him, and RJ didn't know he's there. That was a problem with communication, where the other teammates did not tell RJ that Nikola Jokic was coming up behind him and took that ball from him. That was a bad move. Jimmy Butler, the glue of everything, of course, 14 points, 7 assists. Yeah, Bam was solid. Bam had a key 3, 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Tyler Hero was back for this one. We had not seen Tyler Hero until last night's game all season, and he was fine. He was out there shooting. Of course, he's a college teammate of Emmanuel Quickley, so there's a little bit of friendship there. And then off the bench, different guys like Vasquez was huge, 20 points, a plus 26, 9 assists for that guy. Yeah, he was just doing some good stuff. And then Kevin Love does Kevin Love stuff, hits a couple threes. Just being a bully down low too last night. Kevin Love getting to do a little bit of post work on our undersized people last night. Highsmith was also a very talented young player last night too. Nice to see DeLon Wright. You guys see DeLon Wright, and I'm like, that could be a backup point guard for us next year. DeLon Wright, that would be not a bad guy to have around. Seriously. So yeah, good job, Heat. In some ways, y'all aren't that good, and yeah, you're gonna beat them. You're going to beat us when we're trash like we are last night. That's right. James is saying RJ haters doing U-turns right now. I don't even know who these RJ haters are. I have heard very, very little criticism or anger or like hate towards RJ since he showed up here. I mean, how can people hate RJ? Like, seriously, he hasn't done anything bad on the court. He's played at a very high efficiency and level. Raptors fans that don't like RJ, you're just idiots. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you hate a guy who just had his younger brother die tragically? Yeah. I don't know if these people exist right now. I have not detected them anywhere, James. So if there are, they're misguided and very few. Because how can you get mad at this guy? He's from our town. All the kids out in Mississauga and Brampton are going to love him. And he's playing with a passion and a purpose that is so respectable. Anybody who's hating on RJ, man, if you're like the old Fred haters last year, yeah, you're idiots. You know, the Rockets fan base is going through this right now. It's like some people are hating on Fred, and some people that are smart and understand basketball love him and talk good of him, like I did all last year, while idiots talk bad about him. You know, some people just don't understand basketball. But if they hate RJ right now, they really don't understand basketball. Seriously, that's crazy. I didn't even know that existed, James. If they're U-turning, well, they should have been with the pack all along. Chris is saying at Mo, but when the players are trash, remember it's called a trash can, not a trash can't. Okay. Chris is saying nothing can be done with a dumpster though. Williams seems to be on fire. Yeah, he's like he's making the jokes that like Malik Williams, man, whatever, bro. Like, I don't know. Why would you try and be a basketball player your whole life and you get these chances and you just fumble like this? Like, is this how he played for Sioux Falls Skyforce? In some ways, it's like this guy knows the system on the other side's team better than ours because he was on their farm team this year. He was on the Miami farm team, Malik Williams. In fact, he didn't get called up and played for them on their level. No, I don't think so. But yeah, what a waste. Like seriously, sometimes when we get centers or new big guys, I give them a lot of credit and be like, yes, please just be good because we just need something. I can't get any starting point of like this guy is worth having any kind of anything. I can't even say he's a good shot blocker. I can't even say that he's actually a good rebounder. I can't say anything good about him. Seriously, there's nothing good I can say about him. It's crazy. Dana sent, good morning, everybody. I've had too much coffee. Let's win the next one. Let's go Raptors. I'm all about that, Canadian Dana. I am all about that. She's had too much coffee. All right, Dana, I'm going to give you a dunk. You're 18. That's right. 18 dunks for Dana. Yeah, get that coffee down. Monique saying, well done by TSN all season, even with a season like this one. Yeah, the final broadcast from the TSN games. Tomorrow we'll do Sportsnet with Alvin and Matt. And yeah, saying, hey, see you next year, Jack Armstrong and Kate Burness and Kia Nurse and Leo Routens and the crew on the TSN side of things. Yeah. Once again, I've done this critique this season already. I prefer the TSN broadcast and the TSN people over the Rogers Sportsnet people. And, good job last night. Good job. It's fun to see Kayla Gray sitting in her little spot and saying, hi, guys. I will see you. Yeah, it is what it is. TSN, good job. We appreciate you guys, all the hard work you guys do. Everybody from behind the scenes, like Karthika, she's awesome. She's been a huge MVP this year for you guys on your staff as far as keeping y'all up to date on your stat stuff. Man, she is awesome. Her Twitter account is one of the best Twitter accounts, Raptors related out of any Twitter accounts. Forget about anybody. Go get the stats from TSN and Karthika. She knows what she's talking about. So yeah, if I had to pick somebody who's the MVP for their crew at TSN this season, it's her. She is the MVP in the Raptor Freaks opinion. But yeah, great year, and we love you guys. TSN, you guys are awesome. Keep broadcasting the games. In some ways, I wish you guys did all 82 of our games. I really do. If you could bring Alvin over and do half of them still and get him out of Rogers and Savannah could be involved somewhere, I'd be like, yeah, let's just get rid of the Rogers people. Yeah, see ya. Bye, guys. And we'll just do TSN only, NBA on TSN. That would be great. I would be all about that. Take us off the baseball network, please. Yeah, I'd be all about that. Trevor saying Shohei's ex-interpreter was charged for stealing $16 million from him to use on sports gambling. Wow. Well, in some ways, this is two subjects that in some ways I don't really want to talk about. That's upsetting for Shohei, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. This is Ohtani. This is MLB. Fuck him. They tried to act like he was coming to Toronto, and then he didn't. So whatever. You get what you get. And the interpreter, whatever. You got 16 million stolen from you. Okay, man, you need to hire better people. Let's see. Monique saying, sent a message to Alex Wong last night. Going to be having you back. Let's go. He loved my comment. Oh, great to having you back. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Mo. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the thing that they put together next. Is it going to be like the old things that they used to do? I don't know. Are they going to get online like me on YouTube like this? How are they going to do? Where's going to be their format? Where's their platform? And what are they going to be under? Are they going to be with Raptors Republic? Probably likely they'll be with Raptors Republic. That would be smart. It's a great place for him to fall back onto because he's already been a part of that community and those people. So, and he's been working with them even while at Rogers Sportsnet, doing Raptors Republic events in public already. So I would think that that's what's going to probably happen. Probably going to happen that way. Let's see. Chris is saying it's always the damn translator. You can never trust what they are saying. And Mo, are Alex and Lou for sure back as a team for next season? Yeah, Chris, we went over this. William Lou stepped down from the Raptors show yesterday or got fired. And he said, the great news is I'm going to be working with Alex Wong again. So, yeah, they're going to work together independently. It could be that William Lou was upset that his friend was not around anymore. And that's interesting because, all right, think about this. We were wondering why Alex Wong was leaving the Raptors show this year. It could be because he wrote a book and he wanted to go into his own adventures? No, because this is obvious. If he's willing to work with William Lou right now, as of they're gone, he obviously got dismissed or Rogers did some BS. And maybe William Lou, this whole time since Alex Wong has been gone, it's like, this is not right. I don't need to be doing this without Alex. And I'm going to quit or something like that. It could be that because the fact that they're jumping back together immediately shows that Alex Wong probably should have never left the Raptors show. and that he probably didn't totally want to leave the Raptors show, and there may be some corporate bullshit that happened or something. Either way, William Lou values being an independent journalist and not having people over him telling him what he can and can't do. So him and Alex Wong will do a project for sure together, Chris. It is for sure. It is for sure. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. RJ was so explosive, and I love the fact that he wants to play with us a long time. Yeah. Yeah, he said a long time. I mean, he's under contract for like 3 years. He's going to make around 30 million a year. But is he worth it? Yes. Is he a Canadian product? Yes. Is he a real one for our city? Yes. Yes, he is. And in some ways, having that peace of mind in some ways is nice. I mean, I don't ever want anything to go weird with RJ as far as the front office and him. In some ways, I know that everybody's up on the up and up and honest. As long as this front office, I don't see anything weird or screwy going on in some sort of weird dumbass way. So hopefully everything's good. And, because this can happen. I mean, there's been Leaf players that have been from Toronto that have had acrimony and weird shit happen. And it kind of changes things. And I don't ever want that to ever happen with RJ. No, I don't. We want everybody to be happy, and we want to take care of our hometown guys. And I think by doing the extension for Kelly already this year shows that we are willing to do this. We wouldn't have brought him in for this and this if we weren't serious about like having these guys around for a while. And, a lot of people have been looking at IQ a lot in the whole OG trade. But in some ways, they need to start looking at RJ a little bit more prominently and what happened in that trade with New York this year, too. So, yeah, it's awesome. Nako's saying, Will Lou is leaving Sportsnet after the season. He's going independent with Alex. Yeah, we covered this breaking news yesterday, Nako the Nacho. That's right. Yeah, changes. All right, Tom Duke. Good morning. Yeah, I hate how you write morning. I want you to write the real word because in some ways, I have a friend here in Toronto that writes good morning all the time, and he posts his dead friends every morning. And I don't want to think about people dying. And in some ways, he uses the exact same statement every morning. Good morning. And then rest in peace, this person that died. And then this person the next day. And then this next day. Let's get more positive, Tom Duke. Write morning right. Take the U out. This isn't color in Canada with the extra U. No, take it out of there. You're making me sad because you make me think morning, like I'm mourning the Raptors season when you write good morning. And I think about my friend Anthony that I showed you the art that he does. When Tom came to Toronto, I took him to Spadina and Queen, and we looked at a hot dog stand that had these crazy black and white death-looking art. Well, you see this in Toronto. If you go around Kensington Market, you'll see the art of Anthony, my friend Anthony. He's a modern artist and one of the best artists of our time because in some ways he's putting art out there that really reflects the gross decay of our society. And well, Anthony posts all the homeless people and all the people around the Toronto area and downtown that have passed away. And he writes good morning. And he writes a little blurb about somebody who should be remembered. Yeah, I don't want that, Tom. Please, please. All right, he's taking it off. He's retracted his message. I just don't want to see the word mourning because it makes me think of people dying. And I don't want to think about people dying right now or the Raptor season's dying tomorrow. Let's see. Kareem saying with the number RJ has been putting up since becoming a Raptor, he's setting himself up to be a serious contender for All-Star next year. His stock continues to rise. It's weird, Kareem, because in some ways I would have thought that RJ would have already been an All-Star. Seriously, in some ways, doesn't it feel like he should have been already on the All-Star team? I don't know. It's weird. He's very much a borderline guy that should honestly be an All-Star soon. But it's going to be weird because in some ways, Scotty is going to get those opportunities on our team more often. And we know that they don't like giving us two. And RJ could get shafted for a while and not get any All-Stars. I also wonder about Emmanuel on this. It could very well be that Emmanuel is an All-Star in the years to come too. And how's that all going to jive? I mean, they did the whole thing where they were switching in and out with Fred or Kyle. DeMar would be an All-Star this year and Kyle would be this year. And then Kyle and DeMar were 1 year. There may be a little bit of that going on in the years to come. But I honestly think that both the guys who came from New York could be potential All-Stars in the very near future. So we'll have to see. I think you're right. Tom Duke is saying RJ is a stud. Maple Raptor. Yeah, I love that, Tommy. And I love how you made the Canadian flag. So I'm going to give you a dunk. I'm going to give you a dunk for that. Yeah, I just don't want to think about people dying. It's sad. You make me think about people dying. Uh, all right, let's keep going. James saying, can we take a look at Isaiah Collier, point guard from USC? All right, James has jumped into the line. And I don't know. I know that Cowboy Kip wanted me to do Jacoby Walter or something like that, but I'm going to do Isaiah Collier because that's who James has gotten in there first. This guy's on UNC with Bronny. Oh man. All right. Well, let's see what's up here. Oh yeah, I've heard about this guy a little bit. I've seen a little bit about him. Isaiah Jaden Collier for USC. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He is 19 years old. He is hang on, what's his height? He's 6'5", 210 pounds, and he is a 5-star recruit, legitimately. All right, let me go watch him. Hopefully, his highlight reel will be longer than Bronny's. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is a. All right, let me see. Where is he? There he is. Okay, let me get this right. 3 minutes is it not bad? We could watch a little 3-minute clip. All right, here. This is him against Washington from a month ago. Okay. He's got, all right. Here he is on the break. He's got a guy running with him, but he decides he's going to take it himself. That's a little bit selfish. The other guy had an open lane, and that's not the kind of that's selfish shit. The defender went with him, and he just beat the defender. He could have passed it to his other guy, and he would have had a better shot. Okay, that's a 3. All right, that isn't a bad shot. He caught it pretty quick and shot it. It was not right up on the line either. It looked like an NBA 3. That's from NBA 3 also. So he's showing NBA 3 away from the college 3-point line. You know, he's got a kick to his shot. He kicks his legs out. He better not try and initiate contact that way. Here he is going across the lane doing the Magic Johnson hook. Not bad. There was some pretty good quickness, and there's some elevation when he jumped too, which is pretty good. All right, he's getting down low. He's got a center under him. He goes up and under him, and he gets around him, and he lays it up. And then he's okay. They ended that play. Let's see. Is this another 3? Gets into the lane. He elevates. Goes up. He has a good elevation, quick elevation, and he can get up high for a guy his height. Let's see. What's this? This is a lob. He's ahead of the pack. He got a nice pass. He held off the big guy. The big guy didn't play with the correct defense, though. I mean, that play was kind of just bad defense by Washington. Okay, he does a little step, and there's a right at the 3-3. Not bad form. I don't know. I don't like the very first thing he did on this highlight. It was a very selfish play, and in some ways, that first time I saw that, I was like, that's not the right play in that situation on the break. All right, here we go. He gets it ahead. He doesn't even take a dribble. He just takes a couple steps and he just lays it up. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't know. He seems okay. He's a top 20 pick, right? He's a top 10, isn't he? In some ways, I don't like his size. He's one of these guys, once again, that's around that 6'3", 6'5" area that's really a shooting guard, but he's got more of a point guard body. Now, how does he do with like assists? That's what I'm wondering. I haven't seen him dish it to anybody in this clip. It's all just him scoring. And in some ways, he's going to be a JFL player type. I don't want him. I don't want guys that are under 6'6" that do not play point guard. I'm sorry. That's just a rule I have. If you're under 6'6", you better be a fucking point guard, is what I'm saying at this point. Yeah, he's a scorer. He's an undersized scorer once again. So I'm just going to say that that's what it is. I don't think this guy's any better than JFL. Let's just put it that way. I'll say that. I don't know. Maybe he has better hops. But yeah, I've Isaiah Collier of USC is who I was just scouting there. Thank you, James, for bringing that up. So you put him down as a point guard. He didn't play like a point guard just now. No, he didn't. I want to see assists. I want to see how he sets people up, especially if he's coming to Darko's Serbian offensive system. He's got to be somebody who's a pass first person, especially if you're coming in as a rookie and a young guy. You better do that first, and you can score later. But yeah, you better be setting up the guys who've been around longer and are better than you right now, and not just kind of trying in and taking over and doing what you do. That's kind of how I feel about it. Chris is saying, I would say RJ is spot on. You can see the Raps run-in sets on offense in slow motion, and it doesn't work versus the Heat. Yeah, there was disconnection. Like I said, Chris, we've really been lucky with not having sloppy play disconnected, considering how many new players we've had thrown together. And, RJ said, we get a training camp. It's going to be so valuable. There's going to be so many different like things. If we can get it right at the beginning of the season, it's kind of like what we were saying last year. Okay, we got Jakob, and in some ways we need a training camp with Jakob, and we need this and this and this. Well, we need that again. We need a training camp again with the new cast, and then things will be better. Things will be better. Yeah, Evelyn's here. Good morning to Granny Evelyn. Always good to see Granny swag. She's got a stack of pancakes and a cup of coffee. I like that. Nako saying RJ for most improved player next season. This season, if we're winning more, yeah, I don't know. In some ways, he's already a very high level. The pronounced like visible leap may not be that evident. Like that's the thing. Like in some ways, you got to have somewhere where you were, and then all of a sudden, wow, he's way better player. Now, if RJ can have the kind of jump that's perceivable, that people will be like, yeah, this guy's the most improved player in the league. I don't think that's likely because he's already playing at a very high level. But I mean, in some ways, you do that when you do a jump on your offensive side, not on your defensive side. That's not very evident or visible. Like if RJ does what I talked about earlier and becomes a more of a two-way, like Bobby wants him to be, that's not going to be something that's going to dazzle the NBA world to get notice. It's really more the opposite. Like when Siakam won it, it is because he offensively got so much better all of a sudden, and they couldn't deny it. In some ways, that's why Maxey will probably win it this year, is because he's made a leap in his offensive side that's so apparent that is what will get him that. Scotty could have been a most improved player for, the quality of play, that how it jumped up too. But he hasn't played recently. He's not on anybody's mind, and he doesn't qualify for postseason awards because he didn't play 65 games. So they're not going to give it to RJ for improving his defense. And his offense, I don't know how much more it's going to improve. So Fiercely saying, little bone to pick with Darko. He would like for RJ to do more passing, but what happens when teammates keep hitting bricks? Yeah, I don't know when Darko said that. I mean, he wants everybody to pass. He just wants them to take the best shots. And part of the problem was misconnecting with each other, but also not recognizing when the best shots were. There was this whole weird play where Grady took a layup and it just barely missed. And I wish it had gone in because that would have just ended the play. But then we got the ball some more, and JFL and Malik were kind of like fumbling around with it and not really going back up with it correctly. And we got like 2 or 3 shot attempts, but they're absolute garbage. And there were better people around that they could have thrown it to, but they were trying to go up with it like in a very failed way. And they ended up not converting on that play when Grady had a layup that just didn't roll in. It rolled off the rim, and they got the offensive rebound, and we had all kinds of chances, but they managed to screw it up. Some of it is miscommunicating and not connecting, and then some of it is not converting because these guys are just not good enough to make the baskets, even very simple baskets that are in the lane nearby. And you're 6'10", almost 7 foot Malik Williams. Why can't you make bunnies? Why can't you make anything near the basket? How did you get to this point that we called you up on a 10-day? Because you have no offensive game whatsoever. It's crazy. I don't even understand this. And I understand why you're saying, Fiercely, why should RJ pass it if these guys are just going to brick it or miss shit? Yeah, I get it. I get it. In some ways, he didn't we needed to pass more to get more going in some ways. Because we had 3 guys in double digits last night. Nobody else was getting going. In some ways, IQ had a hard time getting going. Grady had a hard time getting going. Gary had a hard time getting going. JFL got a hard time getting going. Like we needed at least two or three of those guys to get to double digits for us to try and win this game last night. And none of them were scoring. None of them were scoring. Chris is saying the one set where the guard screens the center at the top and then dips. They ran it over and over, could never get anything, and with no actual center, no way to seal the paint for the guards. Yeah, we have no center whatsoever. I'm not counting that guy. And Garrett, come on. Kelly's great. Kelly is awesome. There was one play where Kelly did something really awesome at one point, and I was like, man, we need to do that more often. In fact, that should be a priority. He looked all around. He kind of did a clock. He's like looking around. He's at the top of the key. He had the ball. He's the hub, and he kind of just brought it in transition, and he looked all around, and in his blind spot behind him was Grady standing at the three-point line, and he turned, and he finally saw him, and he shot it right to Grady, and Grady shot it 3. This should be a priority target for our Raptors to look for in transition is Grady. Just get that ball to Grady and let Grady shoot as much as possible. Please. He's the most capable shooter on our team in some ways. And every single time Kelly's looking around, no, you need to be prioritized and get that ball to Grady Dick and let it fly. Because when you do that, good things are happening. And that one play, you guys, if you remember it, Kelly was at near the top of the key, near the free throw line. He kind of turned around, pivoted a little bit, and then he saw Grady immediately threw it over to Grady, and boom, three-pointer. That is something that needs to be looked at and found every time it's there, just like that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Monique saying, oh, Alex shared the news on his Instagram story. Alex Wong. All right. Since you said Instagram, let's go look at Instagram. We got Mr. New York City. He's carrying a bag. He's somewhere in some crowd. I don't know where he is exactly. Maybe he's at Paramount Fine Food Center. I think he is where the 9 to 5 play. That's what it looks like. He's just carrying a bag. Let's see who else we got here. We got Maker. He's on a beach. He is definitely on vacation for the off season at this point. It looks very pristine, very picturesque wherever Maker is. Precious has got a picture of him with his family. That's kind of nice. Precious, of course, is a New York Knick at this point, and we see him talking to somebody at the sidelines. You know, in some ways, it's true. If you play for the Knicks, you're going to get some weird opportunities because there's a lot of Hollywood kind of celebrity people there, and they're going to probably want to talk to you. And like they come up to talk to you, and Precious looks like he's talking to some Hollywood guy or something after the game. No, he's a Nigerian guy because he's got the flag there. I don't know what's going on there. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. It's with Precious. It's David DeVito or something. I don't know who that is. We got DeMar. He's got a Sade shirt on, and it's so cool. DeMar has good taste in music, wearing a Sade shirt. Jordan Wara wearing the old school Vince Carter shirt coming into the game yesterday. And he's even got, you can get it at Out West Fits if you're interested in that. Let's see who else we got. Emmanuel was at the Miami Arena at 11 a.m. yesterday doing the morning shoot around with Grady and the rest of them. That's good. That's good. I mean, these guys, what are you ever going to do today? Maybe just be smart and be ready for tomorrow at 1. Please. That's all I'm asking, Raptors. All right, there's your Instagram check. Not too interesting, really. Not really. Chris is saying, Lex, who cares about some guy in Saskatchewan? I'm sure the players went to a club, maybe with Darko, laugh out loud. But last night, the Heat clamped us hard. The tale of two teams. Yeah. Dickon-esque. Okay. No, I mean, the problem is that is a symptom of how people are putting out false information that people are falling for it and thinking that it's real. Chris, you got to understand that he wrote it in a way that says update and sources have said, and then he proceeded to say that the Raptors are disregarding Darko's wishes for them not to go out this weekend. And they're saying, we don't care. The season's over and we suck and we're just going to party all weekend. Now, dumb people will read it and think it's a real report. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's why. And this guy's got following online in some ways. He's got people that look at his shit, and there's going to be some dumbass that doesn't read the whole thing. And they're going to go out and promote this whole idea of this. And it in some ways, it's harmful. It's not helpful to the team. And it's not fair to those guys. If they're working hard and they're being professionals and they're not doing what this guy's saying, then this guy's telling lies. And that's the problem right there. We have a perception problem right now, partly because of Jonte. Well, do casual Raptors fans want to read about the Raptors aren't taking things seriously at the end of the season and they're disregarding their coach? Because this is what this guy wrote, basically. I did a similar thing when I was in university in the mid-90s. I wrote a funny little parody piece about the Chicago Bulls. It was about the Rodman and Jordan and Pippen Bulls that were winning a lot at that time. It was for an assignment from my English class at Florida State. And I wrote a whole parody story about how Rodman commandeered the team plane or something and went to Vegas. And he did this shit. He did this shit in real life. He went to Vegas instead of practicing. And it was all funny stories about how the different Bulls reacted. And it was just bullshit. It was absolute bullshit. This is what this guy did. But he put it out under the guise that it's a real story. This is the problem. There's a lot of bullshit out there, whether it's political, whether it's whatever. They were trying to shape perception. And there's no accountability for whether they're being truthful or not. And there's not enough investigativeness and sussing it out by individuals to understand whether it is or not. And that's a problem in this society today, really bad. And AI makes it a whole other level of this kind of stuff coming down the pipes. In some ways, people in power are trying to distort reality. and make us believe something different than what's actually true. And they want to see how much they can control as far as perception and reality. We have to be very careful about this going into the next age, that people in power are going to try and control perception, reality through AI, through just making bullshit up and hoping people hook, line, and sinker like suckers and just buy it. And that's why this is a problem. And that's Saskatchewan guy. Once again, big F you to you, 306 Raptors. If you follow 306 Raps on Instagram, yeah, unfollow them and maybe cuss them out on the way out. Let's see. Trevor J saying tonight, one of the biggest UFC fights of the year. Okay, I'm not into that at all. I'm sure this is good, actually, in a way, because if there's a big UFC fight tonight, Scotty will be watching it. And in some ways, maybe he'll be watching it with the team somewhere smart and not somewhere stupid. So maybe they could just watch them fight and go to bed and be ready for the game tomorrow. That'd be good. Nako saying, I thought Quickly got some tough buckets. He did not shoot well overall last night. He had open shots that he missed. And yeah, he did make some tough buckets. I'm not saying Quickly was absolute garbage. He was trying. But he had an off night. Kareem saying it's ugly right now, but any real Raptor fan knows we got shit cooking on the barbecue. The fact that Masai burned and rebuilt this team within weeks, not months, is absolutely genius. We got a core four with Grady Dick. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, but right now it just doesn't look good. And most casual fans, if they see what happened last night, they're like, yeah, this is a horrible team. I'm seeing dumb people in the comments saying this team's never going to get better again. There's a lot of dumb shit going on. People overreact and say a lot of crazy stuff. But I agree with you. I think that we have a very bright future. In some ways, last night we may have games like this next year where these guys just don't connect still because they still got to work on chemistry. We got to understand some of those Heat players have played together for a long time, Jimmy and Bam. And that adds up. If your time accrued together adds up to mattering in some ways, for sure. Nako saying RJ did look frustrated at points. Well, he looks frustrated because he's competing and he doesn't want to lose. And he keeps doing that ball slam thing in the game. And I'm worried he's going to get a tech for no reason. He did it again last night. And the refs could have easily just called a tech and gave him a one shot to the other team. Yeah. In some ways, he wants the refs to get mad at him and so he can talk to them. Because in some ways, he's getting pissed out there partly because of the foul calls and the way they're calling it not very the same on both ends. There was a lot of stuff where the Heat were getting bailed out on ticky-tack shit. And meanwhile, like Jack said, every single play, the Miami Heat are fouling our team. Every single play. And they let almost all of it go. And it's very, very, they will sometimes call it. And often it's on an RJ drive, and it's undeniable that he got fouled. But often they're not calling jack shit, and there's all kinds of crazy-ass fouls going on, and our guys are getting upset because it's an injustice. They can't. They got to understand this shit is not fair, and you just got to keep going. Let's see. Chris is saying it was weird. Brown and Abaji seemed to play okay, but had brutal plus minuses. When they were on the court, I saw that the Heat confused our defense and then teed off from there and hit for 41%. Yeah, Spoelstra is a smart coach. And in some ways, he will really go at our weaknesses. And in some ways, that's a big part of why the Miami Heat had success last night, is because they know exactly we have a size problem right now. And they really were smart about taking us apart. That's just the good coaching of Erik Spoelstra. I watched his pregame interview instead of Darko's last night, and he was very casual. In some ways, he was kind of goofy, and he didn't care. In some ways, he's like, listen, I don't give a shit about anything that's going on in the NBA as far as races or anything. I'm only worried about us and trying to get us wins this weekend because we need to get a home court in the play-in. Yeah, Erik Spoelstra is kind of like, he's weird in interviews. Like, in some ways, he's very put off. Like, he's like, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to talk to you. But then he's smiling. He's like, yeah. And he's not totally serious, too. I don't know. He's a good coach, and he did a good job last night. Nako's saying RJ and Scotty seem kind of chummy. Yeah, they're bonding. I mean, Scott is a very caring, big heart. And obviously, the tragedy that's happened to the Barrett family recently, I'm sure that Scotty's been one of the most sympathetic, caring persons towards RJ. That may have bonded them and made them even more stronger because Scotty was like, man, I really care about you. You're my teammate, and I hate to see this happen. And RJ's like, man, Scotty, It really means a lot to me that you're feeling the sympathies for me right now. I love that that happened when RJ made the strong move and then Scotty dapped him on the sideline. That's what you're talking about right there, Nako. Yeah, they've been sitting together a lot more and stuff like that. I liked seeing Scotty sitting next to Jakob last night, in between Jakob and Garrett Temple. That's a fantastic place for Scotty to be sitting. And him talking to Garrett Temple a lot more recently on the bench is very good. Soak up as much Garrett Temple as you can, Scotty, while you can still. Hopefully, he will still be on our team after tomorrow, but I don't know. There's no guarantees. And he's been an absolutely great resource and a mentor and teacher for you this year. And man, you should have been talking to Garrett every day as much as possible, all kinds of ways. And I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. Yeah. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Kareem. Yeah, we can do that. Kareem Thomas, you're getting a dunk. Yeah, I'm pissy. I'm a little bit pissed off. I mean, I was watching the game last night, and my neighbor downstairs was using some cleaning product, and he absolutely gave me one of the worst headaches I've had in a long time by using chemicals downstairs, and all filters up in here, and I just get really pissed off. So the game was pissing me off, and also was under a lot of duress because of bullshit from downstairs. Let's see. Tom saying couldn't believe the last time Bruce played the Heat, he got 30 points for the Pacers. What is his best game for us last night? What was that his best game for us last night? I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like Brown was that bad. He shot pretty good, and we didn't like key on him. He kind of found his own offense. In some ways, he wasn't playing a whole lot last night. He only got 22 minutes. I don't know. In some ways, Darko's going to do what he's going to do. It's a good matchup for him. Maybe Bruce Brown likes playing the Heat for some reason. He did what he did. I mean, he got 14 points. He was the third leading scorer and only one of three people that got double digits. So that's why he's my second star of the game. Kareem saying, to be honest, hang on. Why'd that jump like that? All of a sudden, it just jumped on me there. Oh, it looks like Jake is here. Jake is here. I like it. All right, let me see. Hang on. Well, why did it jump so far? I want to make sure I get every comment. Okay, here it is. To be honest, I'm all for putting all the threes and fours tomorrow. Putting all the threes and fours tomorrow. I've seen enough of our core has passed the eye test. Time to work on cohesiveness and gelling. I want these guys to hang out all summer. BFFs. Vladdy. Okay, yeah. To be honest, I'm all for putting all the threes and fours tomorrow. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? You're saying that we don't need to play our core guys and you just want to play the shitty guys tomorrow? I don't want to do that. In some ways, I want these guys to play the season correctly out with our whole people that are not hurt playing. Scotty and Chris and Jakob and DJ, okay. But everybody who's healthy that can play needs to play tomorrow. And we need to try and beat them this time, too. I don't want to lose twice in a row to this team. If anything, we've got to improve off of how we played them last night. We got to lose by less and maybe closer if we are going to lose. So, I don't know. We'll see how things get handled tomorrow. It could be any kind of which way. It could be that they're just playing all the end of the bench guys. And I'm not going to be that happy about that, honestly. I might not even pay as close attention to the game if that happens. Because I'm like, all right, you're going to half-ass putting a team out there tomorrow? Well, I'll half-ass watch it, even if it's the last game of the season. Yeah. Naka, you thought that as Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler? I mean, let's look at Vladdy. Does Vladdy look like Adam Sandler a little bit? I guess if Adam Sandler didn't shave for a little bit. And of course, Adam Sandler's hitting those pickup games around New York and Toronto whenever he wants to. He's been seen in Toronto playing basketball with strangers on the court, on the street, while he's doing movies here in Toronto. So he's a big basketball fan for sure. Adam Sandler. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Kareem saying, who's the other guys? Okay, yeah, we didn't ever figure that out. Let's look at him real close. Who is that? Who is that, guys? I can't tell. You know what? Let's do some research. We'll do some research. Let's just see how Lex figures things out. I'm going to go and look and see on Basketball Reference. We'll go and look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll go look at their franchise index. And then we'll go to the bottom. And on the Cleveland Cavaliers page, it'll have uniform numbers. And then we go there and we look and we see the number 8. And then we think about where and when was this? This was around hey, let me read it on there. I can't see it as well. That's around 2002. All right. Who is the number 8 around 2002? That's not Brian Skinner, is it? Let me think. Let me look at it again. Brian Skinner played for Orlando Magic. Yeah, I guess that's Brian Skinner. I don't even remember him that well. Brian Skinner, or that's not Mateen Cleaves, and that's not Tim Kempton. So that has to be Brian Skinner. So this is Brian Skinner. That is who that other person is. That's hard. That is very hard. I don't think y'all would have gotten that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I think Embiid's out again. Okay, yeah. Naka brought something up that happened in the Philly game last night where Embiid has re-injured his knee and had to leave the game last night. And he looked very forlorn when he was leaving. It seems like it's a really bad thing. I mean, listen, I can write this script last year. I wrote this script last year when I said what was going to happen. And yeah, it is what it is. Sixers, you're going to get what you get. Yeah, you can have a dream season. You're going to feel like so good with Nick Nurse around. Kyle Lowry's on your team now. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. You guys are going to be out. You need him absolutely. In some ways, this is why I told you, you all will never win because the health of Joel Embiid will never be able to get through a whole entire playoff season. Watch. I'll bet you, seriously, for the rest of his career, Joel Embiid will never, ever be healthy through a whole entire playoff season to win a championship. At some point in some round, he will not be able to play anymore. It's like he's got to go through the whole season and then go through the playoffs. That man's just a walking, not going to be ready. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. He just can't. And especially if Nick's going to be his coach, especially if it's Thibodeau, same thing. Chris is saying hard music trivia. All right. He's formatted it. I love it. He's saying the original drummer of the Beastie Boys went on to join this musical group from New York City. Name the band. Hint, this band was named after NBA Sixers player from the 70s. Wow. Okay, so if you want me to name the band, and the band is named after an NBA player from the 70s. All right. I remember when the Beastie Boys were a punk band before they were a rap band. And they have some of their old hits and things that they used to play. Now, I always thought that they were the players. Like one of them is the drummer. You're saying that there's another guy that played drums other than one of the 3 main Beastie Boys, because they had one of them played the drums. So I'm trying to think. This is hard. In some ways, I need to just make an answer because I can't really just sit here and ponder this for too long. I got to think about what Sixers player from the 70s would have a name after them. Well, World Be Free. Who else would have a name that would have a name after them for a band? It's not Mookie Blaylock. Come on, we did that Pearl Jam the other day. Is it something like Daryl Dawkins? Daryl Dawkins had so many nicknames. It's his real name, right? The player. See, because that's the best hint. There's a Sixers player from the 70s. All right, I'm just going to guess World Be Free. I'm just going to say World Be Free because that's the most like a band name out of anybody's name. I mean, is the band name Dr. J or some stupid shit like that? I don't know. I'm going to say World Be Free or Bailey Cunningham or some shit like that. Bobby Jones. I don't know. Give me the answer, Chris. I'll say World Be Free. That's probably my best guess. Mike's saying, not gonna lie, Mobley is getting a different rep at the moment. They were saying he was going to be a star, but now people have seen Mobley has no offense, so it's always too early to say a rookie will be this. Whoa, wow, this is out of the blue. I don't know why you're bringing up Mobley all of a sudden out of the blue. Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You could mean Isaiah Mobley. No, I'm with you on this. I mean, I saw this the whole time with Evan Mobley. I saw he's a very talented big, but I think they were over embellishing all of his like skills on the other side, like you're saying. And in some ways, I was like, when they were comparing him, and all the Cleveland fans were like saying he's better than Scotty, I was like laughing at them the whole time. And well, the truth comes out in the end. Tom saying Nick has done some real magic in Philly for us, ruined big old JoJo for good. I think. Kind of think he would be consistently capable versus some new top players. JoJo is not capable. Yeah, I mean, he's not doing this shit for us. and he's not doing anything for us. Trust me. He's just who he is, and it's like chemistry class. You take the baking soda and the vinegar, and you put it together, an explosion. You take Joel Embiid's health issues with his knees and overplaying coach and Nick Nurse, and put the ingredients together, and this is what you get. That's all this is. And Nick is too. He's too. I don't know what to say. His blind spot is not realizing this. It's weird. It's weird. His blind spot was always not realizing this, whether it was with our guys before too. Yeah. Cowboys saying, let's go, Raptors. Nako saying, not every player, but I can see why this is the team you'd want to build around Scotty. Not every player, but I can see why this is the team you'd want to build around Scotty. That's a weird statement. I'm not telling you that. Yeah, we're building around Scotty, and the core pieces right now are RJ, Emmanuel, Jakob, Kelly, and Grady. Everything else other than that is to be determined. And honestly, most of those guys that are on our team right now don't need to be determined to come back. Yeah, I would say that. In some ways, maybe we'll do the Thursday think tank this week, talking about the season and how it went. And you guys can call in, and we'll talk about maybe the players we liked and we'd like to keep around, and then ones we won't. We'll do like a year in review on Thursday, the Thursday think tank this week, 9:30 a.m. And it'll be a call-in show where you guys can call me, and we'll do it on the phone where you hear your voice on the show. So we'll do that on Thursday, and you can tell me who you liked and who you would keep and why. Give me a reason. Tom's got the Raptors and Cowboy and the Skillet. Scotty with his rookie hat, Emmanuel, Kelly, and RJ, Masai, Darko, Grady, and Gary Trent. Let's grow. That's right. And there we go. He's got like a coconut, a worm, a gummy worm, and a dinosaur. Was there a little bit of on my? There's been problems with, yeah. Kareem saying Gary needs to come to terms that he most likely won't be a starter in this league. The sooner he accepts that, he could be a stellar six man. I truly believe this. I've kind of said this for a while on the down low. I thought that he's one of the most talented guys on our team, but in some ways his consistency just isn't good for starting. In some ways you can bring him off the bench and he'll allow, like, you can see whether he's doing good or not, and then you don't have to play him again later if he is. If you're starting him, then he's going to get the starter minutes, and then you're kind of giving him time, and you may not need to, like a game like last night. If we had known that Gary was going to shoot so bad last night, well, start Abaji and get that defensive edge instead. I don't know. In some ways, I feel like his more natural fit is a six man in this league, and I agree with you. But pride gets in the way, and he's borderline. He is borderline. I think Dennis Schroeder is a better starter in this league than Gary Trent Jr. It's because Dennis is much more consistent with what he's going to do every night he comes to the court. And that is why. And people that got mad at me earlier this season is saying we need to start Dennis over Gary. Yeah, this is why. This is exactly why. Right there. Seymour saying, salute the Raptor freaks and freakettes. Let's grow. Rely on Masai. All right, Seymour, good to see you, my guy. He's got a whole parade of emotes too. And Tom's got a burning heart. Okay. Kareem saying alley-oops to Neon Moon. Respect my brother. All right, Cowboys getting an alley-oop from Kareem. All right, let's see where Cowboy is with his alley-oops. He's a David Robinson 50. David Robinson 50 dunks for you, Cowboy. There you go, 50. Yeah. All right, there's more emoticons. And Kareem saying, I say to throw the head completely off their kilter tomorrow. We should start Malik Williams at point guard and quickly taking the jump ball. Malik might be a diamond in the rough. Backup point guard solved. Laugh out loud. In some ways, if I was in a better mood, I might have laughed at that. But no, I'm so pissed off at Malik Williams. That makes me so mad, what you just said. There's no way this guy could play point guard. Come on now, Kareem. What is this? If I was in a better mood, I might have given you a dunk, but not today. Chris is saying, at Kareem Thomas, this is why I think Gary is gone. He's a six man, but so is Dick. And I think Gary will want huge money. He's not a great starting player. And I'm wondering now if Brown is back. Yeah, these are all separate and different things. In some ways, they can both be off the bench as shooters for us. We upgrade our fourth position better. Obviously, we're going to start Scotty, Emmanuel, RJ, and Yak when we're totally healthy. Now, that other spot, it doesn't have to be by anybody who's currently on our team, or it could be somebody that's brand new this summer that comes in. Could be a draft pick, it could be a free agent signing. In some ways, I don't want to invest starters' money in Gary because what we're talking about right here. Grady does not have to be rushed into the starting lineup. He can have that six-man spot. Both him and Gary are off the bench. That's not a bad thing. That's good shooters off the bench to space the floor. They can both be there. Brown, I don't know what's going to happen with him. That's the team option. We decide. He doesn't decide. And well, I'm more still leaning towards not keeping him because that money's valuable to use in other ways. So I mean, they're all different, separate things. Nako saying Wara and Gary's highs are great, but man, those lows. Yeah, Wara in some ways, I feel like he's more consistent than Gary in some ways because what Nwara does, even if he's not hitting his shot, is he is providing some rebounding and he's doing some good things on defense somewhat. So he does good stuff. Like the blocks from Wara in the last month have been really eye-opening at times. He's been blocking people kind of like Abaji does. And that's been kind of very valuable. Chris is saying, I also think JFL is back as a depth guard, as could be Gary and Brown leave and we are again shallow in the backcourt. Maybe a free agent signing. I hope we draft well because we need depth badly. Yeah, I mean every team needs depth, and it's going to be even more and more of a challenge going into the future with the new salary cap rules. And Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong were illustrating this last night and talking about this. It's kind of like a weird reverberation echo chamber because they said something a month ago that Jack brought up last night again, and that Matt Devlin said to flesh out a full complete team, how you got to do it is you got to invest into your core guys and pay them, and then really try and get guys on the cheap on the outside that have room to grow and become bigger than who they are. And that they were going over that once again last night, and that really is a big part of this. Is that teams are going to have to be very creative, and they're going to have to hope they hit on stuff. Once again, Jack very smart in saying like Jalen McDaniels is a good example. You know, Scotty Barnes, let's use the baseball analogy, and he's used this one. He says Scotty Barnes is a home run, but you can't hit a home run every time you do a free agent signing or a draft pick or any kind of acquisition on your team. Each one's going to be a different like at bat. And well, if Jalen McDaniels is we don't know for sure. He could be a strikeout or he could be a single in the end. They all got to add up to trying to win. Sometimes you'll get a home run like Scotty. Sometimes you'll get a triple. Sometimes you'll get a double. And there's different levels of success that you can get from guys that you're paying less that can help add up to more winning. Now, Jalen McDaniels explodes with his development this summer, and he comes back on a $4 million contract, but he's playing like a $15 million player. That's value. And that's Bobby and Masai seeing the potential in Jalen McDaniels to make that leap. And then all of a sudden, boom, we got him on such a cheap deal. So in some ways, you want to gamble on players like McDaniels that have a huge upside, pay them cheap, and hope that they grow into that upside. That's one of the only ways you're going to be able to get somewhere in the NBA and win is you're going to have those pay off along with your guys at the top playing very steady and well also. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how we do this. Depth is going to be harder and harder to get on NBA teams going forward. All of them, not just us. It's going to be a problem for everybody. And it's the new cap stuff. G saying once Yak and Scotty are back, they bring height and talent. Yes, yes, and yes. Draft or trade for more length. I would welcome Claxton as a free agent. Next year will be an upgraded version of this team. Let's go. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. There's no guarantees on anything. And, with the craziness of some of the scandals and weird shit that's happened this year, yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up totally. In fact, every year that I've done this channel, when I come in, I'm less optimistic about the next year and what our potential is to finish at. And next year, I'm going to take a step back from last year even and saying like, well, last year I had high hopes because there honestly could have been high hopes if our cast of characters had came correct and gelled and been right. I've been looking at the games from last year and early in the year when we had our old team, and there is a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like the whole month of December is disgustingly bad. Like I don't understand how we were so bad in December. We shouldn't have been as bad as we were. The fact that the team we had and the fact that we only got a certain amount of wins that month is messed up. And I understand totally why Bobby and Masai dismantled this team. with Siakam and Anunoby on it, because they were not winning the amount that they should have been winning considering the talent that we had. And people can say it's the coach or this or that. No, that's not what it was. These guys were not adding up to winning, and some reason they should have. You look at the team and who was on it. Yeah, we should have been winning, but we weren't, and it's crazy. And man, we're going to do a end of year review, and we'll talk about more of that kind of stuff and the different places we were in and the different seasons we had in one season this year. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying, yesterday I asked we're shooting for him, and you read my question wrong. Laugh out loud. Oh, good. You read more in one day than I did in my life. Facts. Sports podcast. Number one. Thank you, Seymour. That's a nice compliment. I don't know what I read. I don't even remember that. I apologize. I'll try and get it right. I can only read what y'all write, though. Mike saying, Bruce doesn't fit our team, so it's looked bad. But NBA GMs understand what Bruce Brown provides when he fits the team, so he will get traded in the offseason. The Nuggets look worse. His value is plus. Yeah. Yeah. In some ways, he may be a missing ingredient from the championship piece last year. We'll have to see how the Nuggets do in the postseason. I don't think he fits our team either. I think you're right. In some ways, he's an undersized player, no matter what. Any way you slice this, he may have all kinds of talent in certain ways, but it's any way you slice it, he's an undersized player. And some teams that have more length in other ways can hide him and kind of play with him, but not in the condition we're in. As Kenyon said before, Vision 6'5", and we did look like Vision 6'5" when Garrett came out there and started playing center. Really, really Vision 6'5", and that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, I think GMs understand his value. Now, how do we do this, Mike? Do we pick up his team option and trade him afterwards, or do we just say hasta la vista, baby, and we just let him go and just cut him to the wind? I mean, in some ways, I don't know if we try and trade him. I don't know how they do this. I don't know where you get the most value with this. Is it worth putting him on the team option and then turning around and trading him and getting assets for $22 million? Or is it just great to have the $22 million come off the books and have it liquid to be able to spend this summer? That you may know better on that, Mike. Cowboys saying, Raptors remind me of the part of in the Goonies where they're under the wishing well when the kid says, it's our time down here. We will surface when we find those jewels. Let's go. Yeah, that's when they kind of fell down in there, and they're like, now, like, we can't really get back, and now we got to go through. Yeah, I remember that part. And Sloth is down in the basement. Baby Ruth, baby Ruth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amari's saying, morning, freaks. Good morning to you, Amari Parsons. Amari's out in the west end of Toronto. If you guys need a realtor or you need help finding a place to rent, he can help you buy a house. That's what Amari Parsons does. So look him up on the internet. And Omari can help you out with that. Let's see. Chris is saying also, not going to be a popular take, but Agbaji is limited as an offensive player, and his handle and finish is mid. I'm not sure he is an NBA starter. Sorry, folks. Defense is great, but all right, I'm going to break this down. And I'm going to be fair. I don't know if it's a popular take or not. I mean, it's a fair criticism, but I don't know if it's totally accurate. I don't know if he's limited as an offensive player. In some ways, we haven't really pushed him in that direction to do things offensively. We've really keyed on him being a defensive player and doing more of that stuff. Now, from what Darko's saying, he's going to try and develop him more on the offensive side this summer in the right ways. I will say this. His three-point shot's fundamentally really good, and it's like a nice shot. And when it goes in, it looks right. The other thing about him is he's got such athletic gifts that he can attack the rim. We've seen him in games recently go through traffic and throw it down on people. You know, he gets an elevation and a height with his jump that it kind of makes up for his undersized height. It's weird. In some ways, I look at Agbaji and I'm like, this guy's undersized just like Bruce Brown. But in some ways, he doesn't play undersized. He could be like 6'5", 6'6", but he plays like a 6'8", 6'9" guy. So I don't know. I won't say that he's limited as an offensive player because we just not have scratched the surface with Agbaji and the potential for him as an offensive player. So I can't say that because we haven't really gone to discover this yet. His handle is not bad. I mean, it's better than Precious or OG. His finish is not mid. In fact, he is very powerful around the rim. And he's been finishing on bigger defenders, like guys that are bigger than him. He can go up over them and dunk it on them. And in some ways, that's fun to watch. So he may not be a total NBA starter. I'll say that. In some ways, we've started him recently and he's done well, but consistently and over time, in some ways, he may be a defensive stopper role player, but in some ways, that's valuable as a starter also. And I valued him as a starter last night. I don't know that he is borderline. He is borderline, kind of like Gary or Dennis, whether he's a starter or not in the NBA. He's borderline. We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you somewhat, but not totally. I think we need to see more about him on offense before we can say he's limited. G saying Miami knows how to draft. Yeah, they do because they have so many undrafted guys too. Monique saying turnovers also killed us. Yeah, let me go look at the team stats real quick because the team stats will tell us some of the places where we really got in trouble yesterday. All right, they shot 52%. They got 9 more shots than us, field goal attempts. They made 7 more threes than us. They shot 42% from 3. We only shot 32%. The free throws were not that bad off. They got only 1 more free throw than us, and we did make 1 more free throw than them. But it's not even the amount of free throws because honestly, it's the volume of how many times they're fouling us and they're not getting called it's egregious. We're not fouling them as much as they're fouling us, but we have the same amount of fouls. And that's where it is right there. We did out rebound them, which is an accomplishment considering things. The assists were bad. We should have got way more than 23 assists and 17 turnovers to 23 assists. No good. They got a lot of assists. They had 37 assists. Very, very good assists for them. They beat us in the points in the paint, and we never led in this game. We absolutely did not lead in this game at any point. They jumped out on us and led the whole entire wire to wire. All right, Pizza Metal Eddie is here, and I love Jake. Jake's one of my old friends from Kensington Market, and a really good guy, a guy who knows a lot about metal, and just an awesome dude. And he's a good Raptors freak too. I can't Chromecast from this phone and still catch my metal news, but always nice to see your face, buddy. There you go, Jake. I love you, guy. I'm gonna give you a dunk, pizza metal Eddie. Yeah, I know who that is. That's my buddy Jake Eddie. And I appreciate you, my guy. And hope your brother gets into the NBA on our team. That's not Zach Edey's brother. I'm just kidding. All right, the three-pointer for Jake. Jake, you got a three-pointer, and I hope you come in and talk some more Raptors with me. And maybe if you see the guys downtown like Carl and everybody, say hi to them for me. Yeah, say hi to them. All the good Raptor fans in Kensington Market. Pizza Metal Eddie. Yeah, rock. Yeah. Chris is saying, Lex, it's okay to call out a player as a player, but these guys are trying. They are. Williams has worked hard, but he's just not good enough. It's not a personal thing. An NBA try hard. I just don't understand how he was the guy they picked out of all the G League guys. There's got to be a better center than this. And some ways, if you did this just to be nice to Jordan Nwora, that's nice. That's a nice thing to do. But in some ways, it's like, what a waste. There had to be a better center replacement than Malik Williams. Come on. Seriously, they got to be somebody better than 905 or not 905 G League in general somewhere out there. Why the fuck was it this guy? Seriously, I don't see where the what is the skill that attracted you to making a 10-day for him, a Masai and Bobby? Seriously, I don't get it. I don't see any redeeming qualities in this guy. And what did they see in him is what I'm wondering. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Yeah, Dana's saying Otani karma is a B. Yeah, in some ways I don't even want to talk about Otani. He's something that's not interesting to me. He in some ways he's persona non grata to me as soon as he decided to go to the Dodgers instead of the Blue Jays. In some ways he's dead to me. I don't ever have to talk about him ever again because I don't cover the Blue Jays. I don't give a shit about baseball. And in some ways Otani is like not interesting to me at all. This whole scandal or whatever's going on with him, who cares? Who cares? We got our own scandal with our own dummy. Yeah, Nako's saying Miami, OKC, Golden State, Denver, and Toronto are probably the best at drafting. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's going to be other team nations that are going to jump in and say, "Well, what about us, Celtics?" or some bullshit like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you gauge this. I mean, there are people out there that could probably measure this and figure it out and kind of figure out the metrics and say this is actually the truth. And we did a formula, and this is the how their draft picks and their whole entire time. Yeah, I feel really good about how our team does what they do from the front office. Yeah. And those teams are pretty good. OKC is kind of eh. I don't give them as much credit as you guys. Golden State, I don't think they draft well. I think that team doesn't belong in the list. because they've drafted guys like Wiseman, and where the fuck is he? In some ways, he wasn't a fit. Kuminga, he's a reclamation. He's coming back now, but they have not. I mean, you could say Brandon Podziemski last year, sure, but a lot of the times the Warriors have not drafted well in the recent years, so I wouldn't put them on that list. I would not put Golden State on that list. I would say, yeah, Denver. They've done stuff like using that guy that was a rookie last year that really helped them, Christian Brune. So they've done some pretty good stuff with their drafting, but they're not really that overly known for drafting really well. I think Miami, Toronto, and OKC are fine on that list. The other two are maybe Seymour saying celebration. Will Lou got the boot? Yeah, I'm not celebrating that. I'm sad about it. In some ways, he's one of the people like me that got into the big time and had that spot. But if he turned on his back on it and did that decision himself, that's great. If he was fired on the down low and he just left because of that, in some ways, I'm sad about that. So, but if he did it because of integrity and because he wanted to do it, because he wanted to be with his friend and because he was sick of Rodgers and their bullshit, I have a lot of respect for that. But if he's leaving because they fired him, that's sad. And in some ways, I don't like that. I was critical of him this year for sure. But I still think that it's important that we have people like him in jobs like that because he's a real one that comes from a real place and not just a manufactured corporate like face like Brad Fay or some bullshit, you know? Let's see. G saying, what is happening with DJ Carton? I really wanted to see what he could do. This is a good question, G. And I was pondering this yesterday, actually. Now, it seems like DJ Carton is the person we keep forgetting about when we talk about a backup point guard next year. That in some ways, he may have shown the most promise. We didn't see very much of him, but that very, very little we saw of him was very good. So who knows? I mean, the fact that he wasn't a 10-day and he was straight up on our team this year says something. And we kept him around even though he's hurt right now. That says something that he's going to be a part of our team going in the training camp and he has a chance to make the Raptors next year. It's just too bad he twisted his ankle when he did because he had all kinds of time to prove himself. And all these 10 days and things with Kobe Simmons, Jamias Ramsey, Malik Williams. I mean, DJ Carton could have been out there keeping things steadier and showing his bag of tricks and showing us the point guard that he is, but that wasn't to be. But he's hung around. He's still in street clothes on our bench. Well, why would we do that? That means he's probably coming to training camp. It probably means he's going to be at Summer League, and he'll be at training camp for the Raptors next year too. So we'll see. In some ways, he's higher on the list than JFL, in my opinion. Seriously. I will put Jamias Ramsey. I will put DJ Carton, and I even put Kobe Simmons above JFL for who I would rather have going forward next year. Yeah, because those guys are more legitimate point guards. Let's see. Isaac saying 21, 6, and 4 shooting, 55, 39, and 63 as a Raptor versus 22, 6, and 5 shooting, 52, 31, and 75 Pascal as a Raptor. Oh, that's different. I thought you were going to do RJ as a Knick and RJ as a Raptor. So you're comparing Pascal to RJ and this season as Raptors. Okay, so yeah, he's right there with Siakam on the stats, pretty much. He's shooting better than Siakam. He's not shooting better from the free throw line, though. Yeah, very comparable. RJ Barrett's stats to Pascal Siakam's stats. Now, I don't know if the defense is exactly the same, though. Trevor saying Kendrick Perkins standing up for OG yesterday said he's the best role player. It looks like he wrote troll player in the league, and that's why Toronto has him at a high volume. Okay, yeah, that's not exactly. You're not totally clear on the comment. I didn't hear him, and I don't want to misquote him. I think what he was trying to say, and I don't know, I didn't see the clip, is that OG has been one of the best role players in this league this whole time, and because he was in Toronto, the media did not pay attention to him, and that the whole time when Toronto was saying we want more for OG in trades, and everybody's saying Raptors are overvaluing OG, that we were right to overvalue him and to hold out for the best trades over the last few years. And that is what Kendrick Perkins is saying. That the secret is out. They see him in New York, and they understand why we were valuing him so much, and we were making such crazy trade demands if we were going to trade him. That he is one of the best role players in this league, and that it's outed now that he's on the Knicks, but this was true when he was on the Raptors. In some ways, I don't like him calling him a role player, because he's more than just a role player. Sure, you're going to say his role is to play defense and stop somebody on their side. Okay, that's kind of putting him in a box. That's not totally true about all facets of his two-way game. So them calling him a role player is still insulting to me. There's been different people that called OG a role player, and I don't think that's a compliment totally. I think that he's a bit more than a role player. And a role player designates like somebody who comes off the bench and just does one thing really well. That's not what OG is. So in some ways, it's nice what Kendrick's saying, but it's also somewhat an insult in a way too. James is saying RJ needs to get that free throw percentage up next season, but still a terrific player. It's really mystifying and weird because he is classically a great free throw shooter. It's just when he came to the Raptors, he shot really horrible free throws immediately when he came to us. But he's better right now since he's come back from the break after his brother dying. He actually is shooting way better free throws now. If you look at his free throw percentage in the first part of being a Raptor up until he took time off, it's really bad. But now his free throw percentage is actually really good since he's returned. So it's not going to be a problem. In some ways, this is an anomaly. The way he shot free throws immediately after getting traded to the Raptors, it's an anomaly. It's just a really weird, like, why is this happening right now? In some ways, it may be the distractions and newness of being on the Raptors, but he'll settle down, and he's classically a good free throw shooter. And he'll come back more to his regular average and where he's been with the Knicks classically soon. So yeah, he missed way, way more free throws than normal immediately after the trade. It was kind of weird. It was crazy. It was like everything was perfect about RJ except for his free throws. Nako's saying for RJ, I think the percentages show very clear improvement from New York. Yeah, he just fits us way better, and he's playing a way more efficient, better game. And fans of his from New York are validated to a degree. It's very much the same kind of thing that's happening with Fred in Houston. Fred fans up here are validated on how Fred is doing with Houston against the Fred haters from last year. Well, RJ lovers that loved RJ in New York are validated against the haters of RJ in New York. James said RJ haters are taking it back. Well, those are New York people. The people that hate RJ are Knicks fans because there were a lot of them that weren't totally keen on him, and they were very critical of him. And that's more the RJ haters. It comes from New York side, and that's just they've had disappointment in him at times. He has not been perfect. He's let them down, and they have a whole idea of how he should play at a certain level. Well, you get out of that pressure, you come play for your hometown, you're in a system and with a coach in some ways utilizing you better, and you see improvements. And the RJ fans from New York Nation are saying, yeah, see, we told y'all idiots that hated RJ while he was here. Yeah, that's how it works right there. Mike saying Spo is a good preparation scouting opponents. The Heat last night keyed in on our current strengths and got disheartened, but it's a learning moment. They keyed in on our current weaknesses. Yeah, there's not a lot of strengths we got, Mike. RJ's one of them. Manuel's one of them too. Grady's shooting is one of them too. But we don't have any of the strengths that we used to have, like an overwhelming long defense, a very physical presence, good rebounding. Those are weaknesses on our team right now. And Spoelstra knows how to design a game plan against a team that has no center, no defense, no paint protection. Yeah. That in some ways is a cakewalk for him to design a system that can beat that. That's easy. He's got to go against some top Eastern Conference teams soon in the playoffs. That'll be way harder than figuring out how to beat the Raptors with no center. Monique's saying Allen Iverson statue is so fucking small. Laugh out loud. All right, Mo, you're going to get a dunk for bringing this up. This is an interesting story that came out yesterday. They unveiled a new statue outside the practice facility for the Philadelphia 76ers for Allen Iverson. And let me see. There's Monique. There's the dunk for her. I'm going to give her a 3-pointer. You're at 48, Monique, at this point. Yeah, it's small. It's small. Some people are upset. TJ Ford, former Raptor, former point guard Raptor, commenting on his Twitter yesterday that it's a insult to the giant player, the legend, Allen Iverson, to give him such a small. Now, this is in some ways this is keying on the whole thing about Iverson being an undersized guard and doing what he did in this league. He's under 6 foot, and in some ways, people are a little contentious about that, but they don't know the whole truth. The whole truth is that those statues that are in that area, there's more of them for Philadelphia in that area. They're all miniature size. So there's like one probably just a little bit over this Moses Malone, and he's not his regular size either. They're all kind of smaller sized apparently around that area. But everybody's seeing this one at first, and it is very small. You see somebody standing next to it, and you're like, wow, that looks like a child. And in Iverson, yeah, in some ways, it's a funny picture of a kid, a Sixers fan with a headband, and saying, this is the model for the Allen Iverson statue. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. But no, all those statues are small in that area. I don't know why. Maybe they're cost cutting. They're like, oh, we can make an Allen Iverson statue, but we can't make it life size. It's going to be like a little bit smaller than life size. But there's a bunch of statues like that are smaller apparently over there. So it's not just Allen Iverson because he's a small player. All the Philly statues over at the practice facility are on a smaller scale apparently. So that's what it is. But yeah, everybody's making fun of this. There's a lot of funny stuff. Some people say it's like this and this. In some ways, I'm thinking about this. It's like, look, they just put that Allen Iverson statue out there. Number 15 needs a statue outside our building. Forget about the jerseys. Forget about that. Let's do what they just did for Allen Iverson. I don't know. Put it outside the OVO Center. Don't even put it down by the Scotiabank. Put it over by our practice facility. There's a lot of different places Raptors related that we can put it around the city. You know, I would say it doesn't even need to be near one of the Raptors buildings. Put it somewhere downtown and make it a part of Toronto. It doesn't have to be next to Scotiabank. Just make a Vince Carter statue that commemorates the Carter effect. The most important thing to commemorate is the effect that he had on this country to make basketball more popular and have more younger players coming up. The Carter effect needs to be celebrated. In some ways, that's a cultural, huge thing in Canadian history. And it deserves a statue that has a plaque on it that says the Carter effect. Vince Carter came to the Toronto Raptors and he wowed the world when he won the dunk contest in Oakland and this year. And just explain the story to everybody so we can understand the history of this. That's all you need to do, Raptors and MLSE. Just make a Carter effect statue and put it in either Jurassic Park near the other side, on the other side of the cross star columns, or put it over on the Bay Street side near the VIP entrance, near the elevators over there. Or hell, put it over on the corner of University and Front Street, right in the middle of that crazy ass big intersection. Just put it right in the middle of the island in front of everybody. Maybe Carl might hit it though. I don't know. We want to put it in the right place. But if Allen Iverson's getting a statue yesterday, let's make a Vince statue. I'm all for that. Green light the shit out of that. But I do not want that 15 up in the rafters. That's where I draw the line. I'm all about making the most beautiful etched. We'll make it full size. And we'll even laugh at the Sixers for that. Oh, you made a little tiny Allen Iverson statue. Let's make a big, regular size Vince Carter statue and do it right. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chris is saying RJ's game was stifled in New York City. This is totally true. Stuck in the corner in fourth banana. Here he is able to play free, and he's gone stone free. All right, Jimi Hendrix. No more energy suckers. Tibbs controlling his game. Great coach, but not for RJ. The fit wasn't exactly right. I think that in some ways him and Julius are too similar. They're both left-handed players. They cohabitate the same side of the court. And in some ways, Julius Randle is holding back RJ Barrett this whole time in New York. In some ways, he just fits better because there's nobody kind of duplicating him on our team. And yeah, they used him in the wrong way in New York, for sure. For sure. And that's part of the reason why he's looked better in Toronto. Seymour saying, even Rocky, the movie, had a bigger statue. Laugh out loud. Philly is trash. Yeah, it is what it is. Dun 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 dun. All right, let's see. Chris is saying at Monique. Hang on, let me see. Where did it jumped? Of course. The greatest superfan Monique Lawrence. I know, right? It's like, why? Someone is going to cut the thing down and take it home. Laugh out loud. Wait, you think that somebody's going to chop it at the ankles and take it home? Man, you know they have security out there. They probably have they probably have safeguards for this kind of shit. I mean, seriously, that's crazy. If somebody going to be able to chop down a Allen Iverson statue and take it home, man, how would they get away with that? You got cut through that quick. You better come in the right time of night. Monique saying, Raptors Republic crew putting the retro jerseys on Scotty's picture by editing. Honestly, I absolutely love it. Well, I saw this picture recently. These jerseys behind me are the jerseys we're talking about. These are purple front, black back jerseys during the Vince Carter era. We're going into the 30th anniversary season of the Raptors next season. So there's going to be nostalgia around our team. And if we go and look at the 20th anniversary and the 25th anniversary, they got the guys to wear retro jerseys. The first year, 20th anniversary, 10 years ago, they had them wearing, with Kyle Lowry, the purple dinosaur jerseys. You remember that? I remember going to the game. I got this shirt at the game that I'm talking about. It was a Washington Wizards game. I met Alvin Williams at that game and got my jersey signed behind me. That's the night I got that jersey signed. And the Raptors wore purple dinosaur jerseys against the Washington Wizards 10 years ago on our 20th anniversary season. And there were games during that season where they wore old throwback jerseys. And in the 25th season, we did the same thing. You can remember games around the Orlando bubble, and around that time, Marc Gasol wearing the purple dinosaur jersey, Serge Ibaka and those guys, the championship team, the year after the championship, wore retro jerseys that year also. Well, we're going to do it again this year. And I'm thinking instead of the purple dinosaurs, we need to bring back the Vince one, especially if we're going to put Vince on blast. We might as well have our guys wear these ones for a couple games next season. So that picture of Scotty wearing that jersey behind me, number 4, that's probably going to happen for real next season. I'm going to see that if they're going to do retro jerseys, they might as well do different jerseys from different eras. They did the early expansion ones in the last couple of anniversaries. Why not for the 30th anniversary, the purple front and black back Vince Carter era purple jersey? Scotty did look good in it, and Monique is all about it. She loves it. I think it's inevitable. I think that what you saw is actually going to come true in the future in a few months next season. You will see that. Yeah, that's probably going to be the one. And they may even have Vince there for that game that day. I don't know. We'll have to see how they handle it. Once again, I'm telling you, MLSE, I draw the line on you retiring 15. Put that statue outside. That's the best way to do this, seriously. And make it bigger than Allen's. So in some ways, it's like that duel. Allen Iverson, 50 points. Vince Carter, 50 points, 2001. Yeah, make the statue bigger. That's a little bit of a way we can get back. Monique saying, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear the end of the season press conference is in a week or so. I'm not happy about this. It's the end of the season, and we're going to sit, and you're going to count down all summer, Monique. Come on now. Why could you be happy about this? This has been a disappointing season. In some ways, I want to be in the postseason right now. I don't like being done for the season. No, this isn't something to be happy about. Why are you happy about this? We lost this year. We're not going in the playoffs. And in some ways, that year-end press conference, I wish it was in June and it wasn't in April. That's messed up. In some ways, I got to disagree with you on that one, Mo. I'll agree with you on the Scotty part with the jersey thing. Isaac saying, I saw AI play with Georgetown once at the Carrier Dome. Despite having nosebleed seats, it's an exciting memory. I just never knew he was actually a tiny child. Yeah, he is a small guy, very small guy. Like if I stood next to him, I'd look giant next to him. Seriously, I'd probably be like 5 inches taller than him, which is very interesting in some ways. But yeah, he absolutely killed people. And everybody wants to be Allen Iverson coming in this league. No, Allen Iverson's special. He's special. Y'all can't all be Allen Iverson. You don't have that hops. You don't have that handle. You don't have that drive and that passion and the way that he played. No, a lot of y'all. JFL, you want to be Allen Iverson? No, man, you're not even close, bro. Not even close. Not even close. Mike saying, Isaac, laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's funny. David saying, as you were. Good morning. Okay, David. Smooth saying, hoping for a W to finish the season tomorrow. I am 100% with Smooth. I'm going to give him a dunk because I like that attitude. I want to win tomorrow, guys. Let's give us a good win on the way out. I don't care about any of the standings or play-in bullshit. I don't care if Miami's trying to not be in the home arena against Wells Fargo with Philly or whatever the fuck's shaking out. We just want to win tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. Raptors, let's try and win tomorrow. Let's build on it. In some ways, I feel like we're going to be even worse tomorrow because these guys a lot of them are not going to play. It's the last game of the season. Get out there, RJ, Emmanuel. All y'all, get out there and play. Please do not DMP. Any of y'all that DMP tomorrow, I'm going to be like, yeah, this is bullshit. What the fuck? Come on now. Country Kong saying, Lex, I can't believe we got RJ Barrett. He's so powerful on the court. Last night, he took Jimmy Butler to the shed. He's like if Zion was a shooting guard. I can't believe the Knicks gave up on him. In some ways, it's like what we were always saying, JP. It's a fit. And the fit wasn't right. And the fit's much better here. And Bobby and Masai could realize that. In some ways, IQ and RJ did not fit with New York anymore. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle in the way. And well, that's what they look at. They look around the league and say, well, there's some potential if this guy could get away from there, that he could be this and he could be this. And that's exactly what they did with that New York trade and getting those guys. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't believe he's on our team too. There's a respect between RJ and a lot of the good pros in this league. And some of the stuff that was happening between Jimmy Butler and RJ Barrett last night is a high level respect of high level NBA players. And Jimmy's like, yeah, this guy is a real one. And RJ's like, I can look eye to eye with Jimmy Butler in this league because I'm that kind of player. And you don't earn that. You got to earn that. You don't get that given to you. RJ's earned that kind of respect with other pros in this league. And you can ask Jimmy Butler, how do you feel about RJ? That guy's a baller, man. He works real hard and he's tough. I play him a lot in the last couple of years and I respect him. You know, I bet you'd say that. I bet you'd say that if you asked Jimmy Butler about RJ Barrett and how he plays. And that's a big compliment. Jimmy Butler probably is like, yeah, a lot of these guys are punks and they're nobodies in this league. But he'd probably say nice things about RJ. I'll tell you that right now. I bet you would. Let's see. Monique saying, W stream, Lex. Keep at it always. Good times. Approaching. Go Raptors for light, regardless of the situation. That's right. And once again, y'all, I'm going to promote. We're going to do the next Raptor Freak meet and greet on June the 8th at the NBA restaurant. It's going to be Monique's birthday party. And I'd like as many of y'all to come down there and celebrate Monique's birthday with us in June. Let's give her a great birthday time. And we'll go and check out the NBA restaurant. And maybe I'll even see that guy that I had a problem with when Tom was in town. Maybe he'll be there. And David has told me he's going to try and come to the party too, Mo. So maybe David and I will have to talk to this guy. Yeah, if David comes down there, that'll be fun. But yeah, definitely mark your calendars. If you're able to come to Toronto from out of town and be a part of this, that's fantastic. But if you're around the community also here in the GTA and you can come on Saturday, June the 8th, sometime in the afternoon or early evening to go to Monique's birthday party at the NBA restaurant, we would love to have you there. It's an official RFF hangout. And Monique deserves a great birthday. So come on down there and be a part of it and have all the smiles. And we'll eat some of the food at the NBA restaurant and see. We'll check out the restaurant, see if it's any good. Yeah, we'll figure it out. David's saying, heads up, next year's trivia prize is absolutely nuts. Y'all be ready to win. It's mind-blowing cool. That's all I'm going to say. Well, I'm going to need some more prizes for this summer. I'm going to need a WNBA prize. I don't know. I shouldn't say this too much because Trevor and you are going to go buy all this shit. No, we'll figure this out. But there are more and more things to give prizes for on this channel, it seems. I feel like I should have given Mischief a prize for the score prediction game. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out where the prizes go for different things on this channel because there's all kinds of competitions. Like Kareem probably should have gotten a dunk champion prize of some sort, like for winning the dunk championship last year. And he's probably going to win again this year. I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. We'll figure out the right kind of prizes for different things. David's already buying prizes for trivia game that won't be finished for like over a year from now. So there may be other things we may need to give prizes to before then, just so you know, David. So we'll figure it out. But if you tell me you want this to be the prize for this, I'll do it that way because you spent the time and the energy and the money to get whatever you're getting. Let's see. Mike's saying in 2019, we were paying Siakam and Fred peanuts for their production. Fred on $8 million and Siakam making like $7 million. And that was a key piece of the 2019 budget. Exactly. And that's the blueprint for how we're going to have to do it again. In some ways, we're going to have to find the guys like Norman, Pascal, and Fred that are going to be the seconds to the paid guys, the big guys, and they're going to be coming up in the crop. And in some ways, that's the kind of thing we got to build. And that's why it starts with 905. That's why those guys all started 905, and that's where it comes from. So we need to get 905 on his feet right again. And hopefully we send Evo there. Luke Wynn does a better job getting certain things going. And yeah. Maybe we can get something going with the 905 with a wave of talent coming up. Marquise Noel, could you be the next Fred VanVleet? That's what I want, my guy. You want to be that next little heart over height guy? I want you to be that. If you can replicate even just a tenth or a bit of what Fred VanVleet accomplished coming in as an undrafted player, that would be great. And if you can have that kind of effect with a bench mob or bringing guys up from the 905 level, maybe it's Mohamedou Gay. I don't know. Who else is around you that's going to be a part of that little group that comes up and is very helpful for us in the next couple of years? That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome because I think that Mike's exactly right. This is an important component, and we used it to get our championship. Well, we're gonna have to do it again, especially because of the new salary cap. Chris is saying Kate Schellenbach was the drummer, the band Luscious Jackson. Oh wow! Ah, yes, I should have known this. Of course, Luscious Jackson. Now, who is the player? Luscious Jackson. Luscious Jackson. I want to look this up real quick because I want to know who the player was. Was it Lucius Jackson? I'm going to look at this. Why were they named Luscious Jackson? Does it say? Okay, they got the name from. Okay, the band's name was derived from a malapropism of the name of the former American basketball player Lucius Jackson. So yeah, it's a play on the guy Lucius Jackson. It's not actually his name was not Luscious Jackson. Okay, that's pretty good. I do remember their connection to the Beastie Boys, that band, and it totally threw me off because in some ways I wasn't thinking of female drummer, but I do remember their connection. So good job, Chris. You got me. All right, I'm gonna give you a dunk. I'll give you a 3-pointer for that. Yeah, he got me on that one. I just I didn't remember the Luscious Jackson connection. So 62 for Chris. 62. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Mike's saying you trade him with the new trade rules for players, making that we don't have to take back a lot of salary. So a pick and a 9 to 10 million to waive or play. So you saying that we take his team option and then we turn around and trade him and we get 22 million in assets going the other way. Okay. You're talking about Bruce Brown. I know you're talking about Bruce Brown. Chris is saying, here I come. You can't stop me now. You'll be the only one who keeps you around. Yeah. Peace and love in everywhere. Yeah, that's like a Luscious Jackson song or something. Talk to you later, everyone. All right. Yeah. Mike saying this trade format makes sense for the other teams as well. Take a 9 to 10 million player that isn't providing enough and upgrade them with a pick in their 20s into Bruce Brown. Makes sense for a team to do that. If they're like closer to a championship too, like if they're higher in the escalator towards like competing for a championship, that may make more sense for that particular franchise because Bruce Brown is that kind of player. Isaac said we could get a Vince Carter statue like that AI statue. It would be called half man, half tiny child. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to do something unprecedented because this is the funniest thing I've read in a long, long time. Man, Isaac sometimes jumps up and he can rival Kareem for being the funniest person on this channel. Isaac, I'm giving you a 9-pointer. I'm giving you 3 threes because that legitimately got me an LMAO right there. So what would it be? He'd be at 56. Yeah, we're going to put you at 56, my guy. You got 9 points for that one. That is hilarious. That made me laugh so much right there. We could get a Vince Carter statue just like the AI statue, and it would be called half man, half tiny child. If you have a Twitter, you need to tweet that right now, and you will get that will go viral. That is one of the funniest jokes I've read in a long time, and I think people would totally think this is hilarious. You need to put this other places. Monique, go take that joke that Isaac just put there and post it on your social media all over the place. You're going to get people laughing their ass off. It's not really a joke on Vince, but it's definitely a joke on the AI statue being small. So good, Isaac. Bravo. Bravo. That is like well crafted. That is the kind of shit that like Jerry Seinfeld would write for stage. That is a great joke. That is a well crafted, well thought out, amazing, half amazing joke. So good. So good. Oh my gosh, so good. Yeah, Mike saying Muggsy statue, same size. Yeah, same size as AI. Yeah, it's so funny. James is saying if we don't re-sign Trent, what do you think about Abaji in the starting lineup? I think he fits defensively. Yeah, I have no problem with us starting Abaji. In fact, I wanted him to start last night. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I know that Chris is saying is this and this, but in some ways, if he starts next year, we may see the expansion of the offensive side that he can give us. If anything, if Abaji is like a mini OG in our starting lineup that's doing defensive stopper stuff that doesn't totally score all the time, because we know OG did this in the last couple of years for our team, whereas like he's not always about putting baskets in the basket for OG. And that's why in some ways that role on the team is okay to have. Abaji will hit a three and keep them honest if they're laying off of him. It's not the thing that he's a detriment because he doesn't hit threes. No, he has that weapon, and if they leave him, he's going to make them pay. It's just that in some ways he doesn't have to key on scoring. In some ways, IQ, RJ, and Scotty are going to be scoring, and Obaji's going to be doing all dirty work. He's going to do physical shit. He's going to get up there and get in the rebound mix. He's going to get some crazy ass athletic block. So, yeah, I'm totally about this, James. I think that he does make sense as a starter, in some ways better starter than Gary. In some ways, maybe more consistent night in, night out, because you know exactly what he's going to do, and he'll come out and do it. That's something that is really valuable in the NBA. It's consistency. And on a night in, night out basis, you're going to get your numbers. And that was something that's always been valued in the NBA. That's what makes you get in the NBA and you stay in the NBA, because you consistently showed that you will produce every single night. Doesn't matter who you're playing. This guy will get his points and his rebounds. That's what I'm talking about right there. Most saying, in reference to the press conference, I want to hear everyone's insightful thoughts. I thought I should have put it that way. I'm bummed it's over, but yeah, I'm not happy about it. It's the sad part of the year when they did the year end. I know what you mean, Mo. You just want to hear the comments. Well, all in its right order. We still have another game. Let's not Nick Nurse this shit. We got one more game tomorrow. We'll get the exit interviews this week. Either way, no matter what. And, they will be very telling and interesting. I don't know how exciting or like positive they'll be. I'm sure they will be positive, but I don't know. Like, it's not like, I don't know. We'll see the exit interviews. We'll see what they're like. Some of them could be very confusing and weird. Last year when we did them, they were all fucked up because it was like Nick Nurse was all weird, being all crazy, and he was about to leave. And so, like, Nick Nurse's exit interview was one of the weirdest things ever. Like, I can remember the stream after those interviews. We were like, what the fuck is going on right now? Seriously, what is wrong with Nick Nurse? And well, we found out that man didn't want to be the coach of the Raptors anymore, and that he did some shady shit to get to that point. David saying, it's got to be trivia prize. It has engraving on it. Okay. Well, you're the boss on that. You get the prize and you let me know. You let me know how you want to do it. Let's see. Kareem saying, so I'm just going to assume RJ developed his niche for attacking the rim when he represented Canada last summer. That Euro game is different, and he adapted his play in the summer, transferred it to the NBA. Yeah, I think that this is somewhat true. The physicalness of the FIBA game and FIBA World Cup last year, RJ was doing a lot more bullying, and it seems like it has transferred more at this point. It could also be that Tibbs wasn't allowing him to do some of this stuff in the New York system. And that in Team Canada, yeah. And RJ's been seen to do it in Team Canada successfully. Well, Darko's like, yeah, can you do some of what you did at FIBA World Cup this summer now? So they're leaning into it. It could very well be that Tibbs was like, I don't value that. I don't want you to go inside and try and bully your way to and make layups that way. No, we need you to shoot outside, and we need you to do this. We need you to do that. I think you're right, though, that this was something that I noticed about him at Team Canada stuff last summer, and it did transfer back to the NBA, which has been awesome. Yeah. Kareem saying, I'm actually a huge fan of RJ now more than ever. Me too. Honestly, he's rising up the ranks as one of my favorite Raptors of all time very quickly, just like quickly. But, man, there's just something so pure and true about him that I'm just saying there's something so pure and true. And in some ways, I think part of it that Kareem I like about him is he's a throwback to the Jordan mentality, the Kobe mentality. There's definitely Mamba mentality in RJ. It's either you got it or you don't. And RJ's got Mamba mentality. It's like he said, when he was a kid, he was fighting in a competitive over Connect Four. He didn't care what he's playing against you. He's going to try and beat your ass no matter what it is. Ultimate competitor. That's the way Michael and Kobe were. And that's what I'm saying. In some ways, that's something to fall in love with right there, is an old school throwback of somebody who really has a passion and is in the right place, like those guys used to. Yeah. Mike's saying under 22 mil or something. If you're under the second apron, you can trade away like 20 million and only have to take back like half. It's a 200% exchange rate, so only half the salary is needed to match. This is interesting. So they can still trade him, get assets, and shed money off the salary cap to have money to spend also. Well, whatever they're going to do, I trust Bobby Masai. I trust Masai. And they're going to know the best thing to finagle this in the right way. So we can take back a player making half of what Bruce Brown makes plus a pick, which has no money value attached to it, in the trade equation. Wow, Mike, thank you for being very explanatory and clearing up the situation for us and explaining exactly how this could work. Very, very good stuff. I'm going to give you a 3-pointer. You got Charles Oakley 34 now, Mike. You got a Charles Oakley 34. Michael Motley's here. We can't start him over Dick. You're saying Abaji? You can't start Abaji over Dick or Trent? Yeah. I don't know. Dick, in some ways, he got thrown in the fire and started a lot this season, but that wasn't necessarily the best thing for like when we're all healthy. It's good that he got the experience starting and getting a lot of minutes and that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. It's invaluable. But when Scotty and Jakob and everybody's back and healthy, I don't know if he should start right away. I would say in the years to come down the road, he can be a starter for the Raptors night in, night out. But I won't say that he's ready right yet. I think that maybe an understudy year as an instant offense, 6-man, 3-point shooter for us next year. Maybe the year after that, all of a sudden, he's our starting shooting guard. But I don't want to rush him. In some ways, this year's been weird. It's like, nothing's happening. And then, boom, deluge of all kinds of good stuff for Grady. And the starting and coming off the bench, the different roles are all different things he's got to get used to and adjusted to. I don't want him to be like Gary, where there's some sort of weird air around him. It's like, he can't play off the bench. He's no good. He needs to start to be able to be productive. Fuck that. I want Grady, no matter what percentage of time he gets, starters minutes, starting, or off the bench in a limited more minutes, I want that to be quality. And if he's going to come out and get Malachi's minutes, like Malachi would as a backup off the bench, he needs to hit his shots and in that little bit of time and have quality. As long as he does that, he's good. I just want him to make at least 1 out of 3, if not 2 out of 3 shots if he gets spot duty, and then increase that because he's shown if he gets volume, he can be efficient. He's showed that recently with that 24-point game he just had. So I don't want to rush him. In some ways, he's very valuable off the bench as instant offense and maybe a 6-man role just for 1 year, and then maybe he's a starter down the road. And Baji, I would start over him just because the defensive aptitude of Abaji and athleticism is off the charts. It's really, really good. All right, let's finish things up. I've gotten to the end of the chat. My 3 stars for the game last night, RJ Barrett for sure, Bruce Brown reluctantly, and just a nod in some way to Garrett Temple in case it is going to be one of his last games ever playing in the NBA. You're my 3rd star. Yeah, and let's see what else is there I want to talk. Oh, remember, guys, I'm doing a thing on the community tab on this channel where I'm showing my old Instagram show in Kensington Variety and the convenience store in Kensington Market. And we're doing 5 years ago. And 5 years ago today was the first game against Orlando in our championship run. To the date, today, it was a Saturday too. It's 5 years ago on this day. We were about to play the Orlando Magic at 5 p.m. and lose that game in a very bad way. Kyle Lowry getting 0 points and everybody turning on Kyle Lowry after the game in one of the worst turns on a player in a very short period of time. It was disgusting. Some of the things people said about Kyle Lowry after the game 1 against Orlando Magic in our championship run in 2019. Well, you want to relive it with me? Well, go check the community tab. You can hear what I said that day before the game and predicting stuff. I was wrong about beating them that day. We did lose our first game of the series, just like we had been losing every first game of playoff series before in our history in the Raptors pretty much at that time. But yeah, definitely if you want to relive 5 years ago in our championship run, check out the community tab on this channel. I'm going to be posting these all the time until the end of this playoffs, right up until we won the championship over the Golden State Warriors. So if you want to see what was going on in Raptor Freak Takes during our championship run, definitely check out our community tab. The one today is interesting. I do trivia and all kinds of fun playoff stuff in there. And yeah, this is the date 5 years ago today that we lost to Orlando in the first game of our championship run. And Kyle Lowry scored 0 points. And everybody turned on him later that night. So yeah, just so y'all know, the history of today. No birthday today, but 5-year anniversary of starting our championship run. And Orlando beat us on this date 5 years ago today. Yeah, you guys remember that. That game sucked so bad. And it really made us all feel like it's going to be this again. But boy, were we wrong. Boy, were we wrong in that way. It was not going to be like this again in any kind of way. All right, y'all, check on your Yahoo fantasy teams. We'll check in real quick. HC is now down by 107 points to Peter in our championship final. There's really just tomorrow. There's no games today. And that's a lot to make up. In the other matchup, David is losing to Duke Rocks by about 100 points also. So it's looking like Peter Saborin is going to be the champion of our fantasy league. And second place will be HC, and third place will be Jason Dukes, and David will be fourth. And that's what it's looking like right now. So if you're still playing, go ahead and set your team up. There's only one more day to play, and that's tomorrow, guys. All right, thanks for watching me today. I'm right at noon. I'm going to get done right at noon today. Let's see. You can't find the community tab? David, it's on my channel page. If you go to the Raptor Freak channel page, it'll have like videos and things, and then there's a community tab. And just click that, you'll see all these things. I'll do this. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. Even though I'm going to be done at noon, I want to be done right at noon. I'm going to post a link in the chat that's going to have a whole playlist of that show. And David, you could just watch it. You could binge watch it if you want, because it's a lot. And there's a whole build up to it. But we're at the point where we're going into the playoffs in the 5th season of this show. But I will put the link for this. This is actually not listed right now. So you guys can go look at this only through this exclusively. So that link right there is where you can find it, David. Go there and look for season 5, episode 1. And that's when we started playing the playoffs. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back tomorrow with the preview for our last game of the season against the Miami Heat at 1 p.m. Final game of the season. Hopefully the guys good and put a good effort and they get that W. All right, let's go Raptors. Let's go. Let's go Raptors. Let's go.